On the bridge where the tide con flow, snap vivid like the Nikon. Been cold but the vibe warm, keep it locked like the vice arm. They got her twisted like the coat arm, heart something froze like the snowstorm. Her tote bag match her throat charm. She from the land of the sand where they flex so subtle when her drink mint muddle. Left home and her man in the game that he played for the sand and the shade. She parades you to square in her shades. She like why you do that, niggas be deceptive. Yeah, I'm pretty restless, long as the check is addressed to a residence. She self-heal therapy, she beat 10 on clearance, but she shopping for clarity. Reap what she sold for the dividend, know what time is a medicine. Copping the wristwatch, Cartier with the bezel on her credit. Demanding hers rubbers due. I swear she's so sadistic, defensive, pessimistic, reclusive. She too lit, independent. She too quick to dismiss courtship, concerned with malice. She pile up as the bout ends. She throws a talent. She clutch a half full chalice. Sip you from fountains. Check her rap. She chic, maneuver mountains. Fly away with you. Escape the negative. I'm just trying to let fly away with you. Escape the negative. I'm just trying to let. So girl, come on, let's fly. Girl, come on, let's fly. I let the thumbnail distract me from the bigger picture. Losing sanity to misplaced feelings. Real shit kept keeping her makeup bristles. Hotline blink, she sent 1,000 kisses. I just tripped, I sold 1,000,000 tickets. I'm way too focused on this image lately. My mind is racing, million miles a minute. No time to slide, I guess I'm bad with distance. I never text you back, lately my thoughts they drifted around the shots to keep us all from losing who we are. We're products of a generation where we swiping left across the interfaces. Out my mind, I tend to be evasive. Yeah. All that known is how the money made us. Let's fly, yeah, let's fly, let's fly away. Yeah, let's fly, yeah, let's fly, yeah, let's fly. Take a minute, girl. Let's take a minute, girl. Yeah. I want to fly away. Yeah. What do you say? Yeah. What do you say? Yeah. Yeah. What do you say, no darling? Let's fly away. Let's fly away now, darling. Let's fly away. What do you say? Let's fly away.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So hopefully everybody can hear me okay. If you can, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot, or if things are looking weird on the screen, give me a thumbs down or an angry face. I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building early. We got Hurricane IQ up in here. Shout out to you. We got Miss Fran. What's good with you, Miss Fran? We got Miss Nisi. Shout out to Miss Nisi. Shout out to Jesse. We got Lloyd Sky 9 in the building. We got Carlton Way in the house. We got PD that remains. Shout out to you, bro. We got DC Precise. Shout out to Jesse for rejoining the membership. Make sure y'all show him some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat, some ducks. Definitely appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the membership. All right, we getting deep. We getting real deep with the membership. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, moving toward 200, so that's what's good. Y'all got some new emojis coming soon as we eligible. All right. So the migrant crisis, if it hasn't already, is going to destroy these particular cities that we are going to talk about. Shout out to MoFax. What's good with it, bro? Make sure y'all check out MoFax channel if y'all not subscribed, all right? The migrant crisis is going to finish these cities. Now, here's my question for you guys. Why is the migrant crisis going to finish many of the cities that are dealing with it? Here's one reason why. One reason why is because politicians are doing things like this. This is something that's going down in New York City. Why this was even a thing is beyond me. Let's take a listen.
Well, a big ruling tonight from a New York State appeals court about a New York City law that would have let non-citizens vote in local elections.
All right, the court has now ruled that law.
Now, non-citizens voting in local elections. Let me ask you guys a question. Is that a threat or a breakdown in democracy? If that's a threat or a breakdown in democracy, give me a thumbs up. If it's not a threat to or a breakdown in democracy, then give me a thumbs down. Why would undocumented people who are not residents of the city, people who are not documented citizens of the country, why would they be allowed to have a say in what goes on in the city? What have they done to have legitimate voting rights? Shout out to Carla Locker. What's good with it, Carla? I need people to make that make sense. Why was this even a thing is the question. The fact that this was even a thing means that there's even worse things on the horizon. How is it fair for someone who's not a resident of the area and also somebody who's not a citizen of the country to be able to have an influence in local elections? I want you guys to think about this. If you're in a high-speed chase with the police and you make it out of the city limits, are the police allowed to continue to chase you? In most cases, no, because there's a jurisdictional line. Here's my question for you guys. What is the jurisdictional line for undocumented people participating in American affairs? That's my question for you guys. I need people to let me know. If you're watching this on the replay, timestamp, please leave it in the comment section.
Well, a big ruling tonight from a New York State appeals court about a New York City law that would have let non-citizens vote in local elections.
All right, the court has now ruled that law unconstitutional. Fox 5 Stephanie Bertini live in the newsroom with more tonight. Stephanie.
The law is very controversial, and it has been ever since it was approved by City Council several years back. The controversial local law, which was approved by the New York City Council in 2021, was meant to allow lawful permanent residents and persons authorized to work in the United States in New York City to participate in municipal elections.
Why would they be allowed to participate in municipal elections? How many people feel that that's fair? If you feel that that's fair, give me a thumbs up. If you feel that that's not fair, give me a thumbs down.
A group of Republican lawmakers sued to prevent it from taking effect. Today, the New York State Supreme Court Second Appellate Division ruled against it. New York City Council member Joanna Riola is celebrating what she calls a win.
I was against it from the start because the Constitution of this state clearly states that any voting, the right of voting, is for American citizens. So once I was elected and this opportunity came to sign on to the lawsuit to overturn this law, I was right there for it.
The executive director of the New York Immigration Coalition quoted saying, "Immigrant New Yorkers deserve a say in how their local government functions." And
so now, do you see what it says here? It says immigrant New Yorkers. No. American citizen New Yorkers, right? Immigrants can be American citizens, right? They can be American citizens. But every immigrant isn't an American citizen. So no, absolutely not. We're not going to phrase this like this. So now here's my question. Why was this being pushed to be a law? Why was this being pushed to be a law? Does this make sense? Now, they keep saying that one side versus the other side is trying to politicize this, but clearly the side who is trying to bring in all of these people and then flip it to allow these people to have some type of voting privileges, they're clearly the ones who are trying to politically weaponize this. Clearly. Would you guys agree? If you agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. How many people knew that this was even a thing?
Spends their tax money, and we remain committed to ensuring the expansion of voting rights. The city law department says it's evaluating its next steps. There could be an appeal. Susan Lerner from government watchdog organization Common Cause New York says the legal fight probably isn't over and thinks it could go either way.
Originally, the Staten Island Supreme Court said, nope, the state constitution says only citizens can vote. That means citizens of the United States. The city and the organizations that intervened argued, wait a second, it doesn't say citizens of the United States. It's up to New York City to decide who its eligible citizens are.
What do you guys think about that? Now, just so everybody knows, people may not be too concerned about it, right? Because this is just something that's going on in New York City. But this is going to be something that's going to be going on in every city. We've seen this before. What goes on in New York spreads.
Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella, the first named in the lawsuit against the city, issued this statement after today's ruling. Fortunately, common sense prevails in New York. Only citizens can vote in our local elections. It is simply irresponsible and nonsensical to extend this right to non-citizens.
Would you guys agree?
Because it is probable we could
I
see
agree
an
with
appeal,
that.
we will, of course, keep following these developing.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, it's just common sense. So since it's just common sense, then we have to go back and ask ourselves the question, who's voting for these people? Who's putting these people in office that are attempting to push non-common sense policy? Who are the people that are doing it?
Story. Back to you two.
All right, so there's that. All right, that's the first thing, right? Now, can something like that destroy New York City? Can something like that destroy any city that it occurs in? Let me know. Okay. Now we out in Denver. Denver considers allowing non-citizens to become police officers and firefighters. How many people are thrilled about that? Doesn't that just make you feel great? Anybody excited about this right here? Denver considers allowing non-citizens to become police officers, firefighters. Eventually, a non-citizen will be able to become the president of the United States. Eventually. Denver's council members want to change the city charter to allow non-citizens to become either police officers or firefighters, a move that supporters said would help the city recruit and fill public safety positions. Will it really be safe to have these people working in these kind of positions? Do you all feel that this will make the streets safer? The proposal sponsor said if the measure is enacted, it would open up responder positions to permanent legal residents and recipients of deferred action for childhood arrivals, a program that allowed immigrants who were brought to the country illegally as children to lawfully remain in the United States. In order to do so, the Denver City Council needs to eliminate language in the charter that prevents the police and fire departments from hiring non-citizens. So you guys, how many of you all have ever filled out a job application? And when you fill out a job application, there's that part on there that says citizen, non-citizen, resident, lawful resident, alien. Eventually, they're not even going to have that because they'll just let anybody. You're not even going to have to be from the planet. You'll be able to apply for a job and get it. Altering the charter also requires the approval of Denver voters. So when this, I want you guys to understand, according to this news article here, when this occurs, there will be nobody to point the fingers at and blame and shame except for the people of Denver who are voting for this idiocy. This is not common sense policy. There is no justification for any of this to even be considered, if you ask me. This is insane. This is extreme. This is offensive. And this is outrageous. The sheriff department and Denver's paramedics are already excluded from the charter's provision that bars the hiring of non-citizens. Hence, they won't be affected by the changes. Council members plan to discuss placing the bill on the ballot for the upcoming November election, according to the council president, Jamie Torres, who sponsored the measure along with council member Amanda Sandoval. Torres emphasized non-citizens must have work authorization to apply for first responder roles. Here's my question. In order to become a first responder, you have to have passed a state standardized EMT or medic certification or exam. If you can barely speak English, how are you going to be able to pass that exam? How are you going to even be able to get into one of the programs? that allows you to train and be able to test for that exam. How are you going to be able to do that? Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Shout out to Jesse. Jesse says we need to recall Johnston ASAP. Yeah, I believe that the people in Denver should definitely do something about Johnston, and I think that they should do something about Polis also. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, nationwide, anybody living in these cities where the government is internally destroying the city, to me, you would think that there would be a nationwide network of people who are suffering in sanctuary cities working together to, one, oust these people from office, and for two, to get the language in their city and state constitutions secure to where these type of individuals can't create these type of negative effects again. That's what you would think. But here's my question for you guys. Do you see that happening? So now here it says a lot of people have jumped to the conclusion that people who are not documented would be able to now become police or fire department applicants, and that's simply not true, Torres told the Denver Gazette. Now, here's the thing, right? It might not be true at the moment, but when it comes to most of these things usually tend to be progressive. So it might not be that way now, but eventually in the future, they'll try to push for that. Would you guys agree? Shout out to James Sumler and shout out to Cutthroat Nash. What's good with y'all? Shout out to my man Cutthroat Nash. I appreciate you, bro, with the $4.99 super chat. Second stream sponsor. Make sure you guys show him and Jesse some love. Please throw some flames, radiation emoji, ducks in the chat. Cutthroat Nash says, these people can't even speak English. How are they going to respond to emergencies? I agree 100%, bro. That is an excellent question. Somebody should be in the city council meetings pressing them with that exact question, bro, because that is an excellent question. How are they going to read the equipment? How are they going to know the medical indications? How are they going to be able to read the labels of the defibrillator or the vital signs machines that they need to be able to take the vital signs on the patients? How are they going to be able to correspond with the hospitals? Because they got to take the patients to the hospital and explain to the emergency room what's going on with them coherently. How are they going to learn all of that medical information in their language in a short amount of time to be able to be proficient EMTs and medics? These are all great questions. And the thing is that these cities, if you ask me, the people in Denver who are not satisfied with this need to coordinate with the people in Chicago. They need to coordinate with the people in New York. I wouldn't even leave it outside of the realm of possibilities. Reach out to the people in Texas. But they got to start doing something, or else they're just going to try to railroad people with this nonsense. Now, they say that applicants must be fluent in English and complete necessary training, according to Torres. This opens it up largely, I think, to legal permanent residents and DACA recipients, Torres said. A lot of this comes on the heels of us also knowing we are not filling our recruit classes. Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas supports the move. So I want you guys to pay attention to this here. The police, they already got a lot of problems with the police in Colorado. The Denver Police Chief supports the move. Now, let me ask you guys this. Why do you all think that the Denver Police Chief would support the move? They got a lot of problems in Denver with the English-speaking police. The English-speaking police can hardly arrest anybody without some type of violent incident. Let alone if they get these guys in there. The proposed city ordinance change and the already passed state legislation are legislative updates I have long advocated for. He said in a letter back in August. Colorado Governor Jared Polis signed into law a bill last year to open up opportunities for non-citizens to serve as peace officers, but current city ordinances precludes us from welcoming these individuals to our ranks. So again, I'm curious as to how American citizens feel that they're just being dictated to force these changes to occur. Yeah, I gotta agree with Cutthroat Nash. I feel that. Cutthroat Nash says, I'm not taking orders from someone who can't speak English in my own country. Yeah. How many people agree with Cutthroat Nash? If you guys agree with Cutthroat Nash, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I look forward to welcoming the experiences and unique talents of all those who call Denver home into our department, the police chief said. A Denver Fire Department spokesperson told the Denver Gazette it is too early in the process for the department to comment on the proposal. The leadership of the two departments are very supportive, Torres said. I think they took it both in terms of broadening an applicant pool and getting some great diversification without ever lowering their standard for what they expect out of police officers and firefighters. That's interesting. So as you guys can see, the migrant pool, that's where they plan on getting their diversity from. So since they plan on getting their diversity from the quote-unquote migrant pool, my question is, what does that mean for the people that usually are stereotypically constituting of the diversity? What does that mean? What that means is that you're seeing the initial phases, well, not quite the initial, but you're seeing phases of lockout, blockout. So it'll be a white and brown coalition on the police force and the EMTs, and we'll have lots and many more Elijah McClain situations in the next 5 to 10 years in Colorado. Okay. How many people heard about this dude that looks like Weird Al Yankovic that's out here deleting people in New York City? You guys seen this weirdo? Soho hotel deletion suspect. He's a weird looking dude. You know what I'm saying? He looks like Weird Al with salsa. There's some issues going on with this guy. He apparently deleted somebody in a Soho hotel. Somehow, he ended up in Arizona. Imagine that. Why is it that these people that do this stuff in New York City somehow end up in Arizona? As a result of this, Alvin, nothing to brag about, has been dragged for the frumpy beta male that he is. Alvin Bragg is a frumpy, mushroom-shaped, Super Mario Goomba-headed clown that is now being dragged for the beta male simp that he is. He has no control over law enforcement in New York. Would you guys agree? This is a muffin top maniac that cannot do his job, and he's getting dragged for it. I hope that Jonathan Majors got a front row seat. No respect. No one has respect for this high cholesterol, android obese, pear-shaped buffoon that New York calls a DA. No one has respect for this dude. No one has any respect for this dude. Okay? We're going to take a look at this Weird Al looking dude first.
Man wanted in connection with that murder of a woman at a Soho hotel has now been arrested out in Arizona.
And police say it could have victims in multiple states. Let's get right to Briella Tomasetti. She joins us with the latest from Soho. Briella, good morning.
Tashani and Dan, good morning to both of you. So investigators in Arizona are expected to formally announce charges against 26-year-old Rod Al-Mansouri later today. The charges include attempted homicide, assault, aggravated assault, theft, robbery, and...
Now let's take a look at this name right here. Let's take a look at this name right here. His name is Rod Al-Mansouri. Sounds like he might pray when he faces the east. What do you guys think? So does he sound like somebody that prays facing the east? If he does, give me a thumbs up. If he doesn't, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. What's good with it, bro? He sounds like somebody that prays facing the east. Is he documented? Who knows? Who knows?
Theft, robbery, and criminal damage. That's in addition to being wanted for murder here in New York.
So let's go back and run his let's go back and run his rap sheet. Why is it that these people have such a long rap sheet? Why do they have such a long rap sheet, ladies and gentlemen? Do you guys notice this? When they get these people and these people commit these crimes and then they do a little bit of research. Now, imagine this, right? These people are undocumented and they don't have any information on them, allegedly, or they got a little bit, minimal information, right? With the minimal information that they have, they find a rap sheet as long as a receipt roll in a cash register. So imagine if they had all the information on these people, how long the rap sheet would be. Imagine how long it would be. Real quick, shout out to y'all. We got 39 people watching and we got 38 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button and get us to 50, that'd be great.
6-year-old Rod Almanzori later today. The charges include attempted homicide, assault, aggravated assault, theft, robbery, and criminal damage. That's in addition to being wanted for murder here in New York. 26-year-old Rod Almanzori, the man wanted for killing a woman inside a Soho hotel, has been arrested in Arizona and charged in 2 stabbings there.
So now, again, the individuals who beat up the police, they went to Arizona too. So here's my question. Why is Arizona the hot spot? It don't have anything to do with being a border state and they can get back over the border, does it? And they not going hard in the paint as Texas because they know they'll probably get picked up in Texas. So why are they going to Arizona? They're figuring things out. See, these people are innocent. They're just innocent people looking for jobs. They're just hardworking, and they work way harder than us, right? But they sure know how to navigate when it comes to criminality, don't they? A shout out to Carlos Robbins. Carlos Robbins says he's from Central Asia, the Kurdistan region. He's from Central Asia, the Kurdistan region. I believe that they're Quran readers over there. Cutthroat Nash says, don't care if he prays facing the east or Cinco de Mayo. They look the same to me. I'll tell you one thing that definitely looks the same. Their lack of documentation. All these people got Wolverine first names. What's your first name? Logan. What's your last name? Excuse me? Now, we all know that these people all have hyphenated names. They have a surname, a maiden name. They got 4 and 5, a first name, a middle name, a second middle name, and a last name. But in most cases, when it comes to the undocumented bros, they got the Wolverine situation going on. They just got one name, and it's Logan. That's it. My name is Logan. How do you figure anything out with that? Somebody make it make sense.
The murder suspect was picked up in Scottsdale while driving a stolen car. Just 9 days after 38-year-old Denise Olias Arancibia was found beaten and stabbed to death in New York City.
He committed a knife-point carjacking in Phoenix, Arizona, where he stabbed his female victim. He managed to escape that scene. The very next day in Surprise, Arizona, he dragged a female employee of a McDonald's into the ladies' room.
So do you guys see how these people are attacking women? Do you guys see how the majority of these victims of a lot of these people, they're attacking women? Now, mind you, he went out there to Arizona and did this after he deleted somebody in the Soho hotel. Shout out to James Sumler. James Sumler says, funny how you don't hear about black on black crime anymore since the migrant crisis. What do you guys think about that? Shout out to James Sumler. What do you guys think about that? It's funny how you never hear about familicide. I think that's the funniest thing. The funniest thing is how you never hear about the familicide epidemic that's plaguing the suburbs and kids showing up on social media with their parents' heads in trash bags. It's been going on for years, decades, centuries. For some people that's overly obsessed with their population decreasing, you would think that they would talk about the internal epidemic of their children deleting their parents. Don't you guys think that they would talk about that a little bit more? Talk about it on Fox. Let's have a family gathering. Let's talk about this issue. Let's have a family gathering before the family is all laid in the bed with, you know what I'm saying, their jugular veins bleeding. And little Timmy's at school drawing pictures about it. You know what I'm saying? You would think that they'd want to do that. But they don't. They don't. They obsess over things going on in areas that they don't live in, but that they probably own businesses in. You know what I mean? There was a woman in LA who just recently deleted 2 children. She was a billionaire. She just ran them over in the middle of the street. And then she cried about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're dealing with.
Carjacking in Phoenix, Arizona, where he stabbed his female victim. He managed to escape that scene. The very next day in Surprise, Arizona, he dragged a female employee of a McDonald's into the ladies' room, held her against her will, and stabbed her several times.
Police tracked Al-Mansouri via phone and credit card usage. On January 26th, he purchased a plane ticket from Florida to New York. About a week and a half later, he visited an escort in Upper Manhattan. Sometime between the
See, he bought himself an escort. Now, right? This is one of the reasons why I say I'm not mad at OnlyFans models. The reason why I ain't mad at OnlyFans models is because to do this kind of escort work, the sex work, where you're actually directly dealing with quote unquote clients or quote unquote Johns or working at a strip club, that is extremely dangerous. It's already dangerous because you don't know what kind of disease you might pick up from somebody. But aside from that, you never know when you're going to deal with some weirdo like this. Now, these women that are on TikTok going to the gym, trying to thirst trap people and then turn around and say that somebody's staring at you, that's a creep. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. This is a creep. This is a creep. But notice how this dude ain't on no TikTok videos that these bimbos put up there from the gym. I mean, this dude was clearly thirsty. He patroned an escort, but none of them TikTok bimbos called this dude out as a creep. So let me ask you guys this question. Do you all feel that these females who try to thirst trap guys by exploiting dudes on social media who are not creeps are partially responsible for not creating content that actually accurately helps identify creeps to other women? I think that there's a severe failure there. And I think that they should be roasted for it. What do you guys think? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. If you're going to actually show other women what creeps are and what creeps look like and what kind of creeps can harm you, actually take videos of creeps. Because here goes a creep, and he made it to 2 states, didn't show up on one TikTok video except for the videos about the news. So what does that show about these female content creators and their situational awareness and how they deal with men or how they portray men to other females? Can't really take it serious, can you? Because how do we go to the gym and do all of this creep catching content and you miss this guy? Let's just let that one marinate for a minute. Let's just let that one marinate for a minute and ask those TikTok bimbos what kind of content are they going to do to create other women independent women, modern women who are living their best life being sex workers from getting unalived. Because that's what happened here. This guy unalived the sex worker. And the women who pride themselves on making dudes look like creeps did not create a comprehensive enough database to identify him as a creep to protect the female sex worker. Make it make sense. But there's somebody on a stair stepper, or there's somebody on a Smith machine doing squats, attempting to get a viral moment of somebody happening to turn their head and look their direction as they squat right now. Just saying. Shout out to Black Spider. What's good with it, Black Spider?
To New York. About a week and a half later, he visited an escort in Upper Manhattan. Sometime between the afternoon of February 7th and the morning of February 8th, he arranged a visit with Olias Arancibia, who had also been working as an escort. The Queen's mother was found unconscious inside a Soho hotel room and pronounced dead shortly afterwards. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office ruled her death a homicide caused by blunt force trauma to the head. A bloodied, broken iron was recovered at the scene.
It seems there was a dispute.
So he bust her upside the head with an iron. I ain't trying to be funny, but she probably wouldn't do something that he thought that he had paid for. I'm just saying.
Over the time he was allowed to stay in the room, and that's what caused the outburst, which caused the attack.
Al-Mansouri was caught on surveillance cameras leaving the Soho 54 hotel in Olias Arancibia's leggings. He has no prior arrests in New York.
What the hell? Did you see this? Did you hear what they just said? Now, this dude is a creep for real. This dude is a creep for real. He deleted this woman, left the hotel, and now he wearing her yoga pants. Shout out to Kale. What's good with it, Kale? What's good with it, Tony? Shout out to Jay. What's good with you? He done deleted this woman and put on her yoga pants. Walking around looking like Space Ghost.
Which caused the attack.
Al-Mansouri was caught on surveillance cameras leaving the Soho 54 hotel in Olias Arancibia's leggings.
Walking around looking like a mix between Space Ghost and a wisdom tooth. So this is what these people are doing. These people are coming to the United States, especially these ones from these particular countries, deleting the sex workers. Now, y'all know I'm not one of those people on YouTube that's anti-OnlyFans models, that's anti-sex workers. I'm all about it. More power to you. They don't deserve to get deleted by an undocumented bro or by anyone for that matter. Especially get deleted and then homeboy sniffing your yoga pants and then put them on while you sitting up there in the hotel room dead. Make it make sense. They are bringing over some sick, demented, demented individuals here to the United States.
He has no prior arrests in New York, but was previously arrested in Florida, Texas, and Arizona. Police say most cases involve domestic violence and assault. Last year, Al-Mansouri was arrested for...
So again, you guys see what I'm saying? Most of this dude's crimes involve him harming women. How many videos on social media besides the news videos are there about this guy being a misogynist? You have to ask about the judgment. you have to ask about the cognition. People making so many videos about people like Kevin Samuels, calling him a misogynist, that this guy actually just slipped under the radar and slipped into somebody's yoga pants that he deleted. Another win for the ladies.
Kidnapping and sexually assaulting a woman in the Sunshine State, but was out after posting his own bail.
Anywhere that he's visited, there's potential that there are other victims.
Almanzori is currently being held without bond in Arizona. The NYPD is working hand in hand with the Manhattan DA's office to arrange his.
Shout out to Cutthroat Dash. Hey, Cutthroat Dash said that mustache is irritating. Hey, I agree. That mustache is ridiculous. Like, what are you trying to do, bro? How many of y'all have a big issue with his mustache? I got a big issue with that mustache. I'm not gonna lie. Don't do that again. Don't do the mustache again. Oh man. Hey, how many of y'all seen when that lady was at the beauty salon and she got up and she said, "I'm gonna tear this shit up"? How many of y'all seen that? How many of y'all seen that? If y'all seen that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't, give me a thumbs down. Oh man. Hey, that's they need to have. I was talking to my man Grind and Motivate this morning. They need to have this lady right here come to one of them city council meetings. She need to come to one of them city council meetings and get them people together, especially Brandon Johnson. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna show you real quick. Hold on.
You see how I'm shaking? You don't want me to get mad. If I tie this bitch up, I will. I'll tear this bitch up from the plum to the ruler. You don't fuck with me. Get the fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. If I tie this bitch up, swing the remix God. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up.
Oh, bring one more bus of migrants in here.
You see how I'm shaking?
Bring one more.
You don't want me to get mad. If I tie this bitch up, I will. I'll tear this bitch up from the plum to the ruler. You don't fuck with me. Get the fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. If I tie this bitch up, swing the remix God. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up.
Oh my God, man. Man, we need her at the meetings, man. We need her at the meetings. Look, I'm telling you, that's all we need. That's what I'm saying. You gotta stop asking people for stuff nice. Look. Where them reparations at that we owed? Oh, you ain't got them. Listen, in 2024, if y'all don't have them reparations.
You see how I'm shaking? You don't want me to get mad. If I tie this bitch up, I will. I'll tear this bitch up from the plum to the ruler. You don't fuck with me. Get the fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. If I tie this bitch up.
Hey, look, the shit that's hilarious. Every black person in there was crying, laughing. The white people were so scared, they souls left their body. Literally 3 white ladies right here. They don't know what the hell about to go on. The black people dying laughing.
I'm shaking. You don't want me to get mad. If I tie this bitch up, I will. I'll tie this bitch up from the plum to the rooter. You don't fuck with me. Get the fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. If I tie this bitch up.
Swing the remix God.
I'll tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I'll tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tie this bitch up.
Hey, that would make a crazy chorus though, man. Oh man, that would make a crazy chorus. Oh man. Whoo. Lord have mercy, man. You know she FBA, man. You ain't even got to ask no questions. It ain't no type of vetting required. Her house smell like collard greens no matter what time you go in there. You can go in, you can knock on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning and it smell like freshly cooked collard greens in the living room. You know what I'm saying? In the living room. It smell like collard greens in the garage at her house. And the heat is on 95 at all times. You know her house is hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? She got one. How many of y'all got a grandparent or an older relative that when you go to their house, even if it's below 0 outside, you still got to wear shorts over there because you know it's finna be 90 degrees in there the whole 2 hours that you there. And then in each room is even hotter. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. So anyway, man, back to Weird Al, man. Arizona's not going to extradite this guy back to New York City. Plastic upholstery on everything, bro. On the couch, on the love seat. You know what I'm saying? And the little glass jar with the mints on it, with the mints on it on the table. Smell like collard greens in the car too. Facts, Black Spider, big facts. You get in a car and it's either a Delta 88 or a Chevy Caprice Classic. You know what I'm saying? And you like, why it smell like greens in here? It smell like greens and rainbow trout. Oh, man.
Officials in Arizona calling out Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as the reason that they won't agree to an extradition, saying that they have observed his response to other violent criminals and they're concerned that the suspect could be released on bail.
All right, Fox 5's Arthur Chen's been following these developments all day and joins us live from Lower Manhattan.
So you guys see, this got to be embarrassing for Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg is such a frumpy, Hershey Kiss shaped beta male that Arizona has superseded his authority and said, you're too much of a beta for us to allow you to properly handle this criminal. We're going to keep him here because all that's going to happen is when we send him back to Arizona, you're going to release him on bail. Cheap bail, probably like $1. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, you'd be stuck to the couch. A little bit of plastic come off on your leg every time. Facts, especially if you wear shorts. That's why you don't never wear no shorts over there.
Officials in Arizona calling out Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as the reason that they won't agree to an extradition, saying that they have observed his response to other violent criminals and they're concerned that the suspect could be released on bail.
All right, Fox 5's Arthur Chen's been following these developments all day and joins us live from Lower Manhattan. And Arthur, this is really an astonishing development.
Now, how many of y'all think that if Alvin Bragg got his hands on this individual, that he would release him on bail? If y'all think that he would release him on bail, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Black First Coffee. What's going on with it? I can't say with 100% certainty if he would or if he wouldn't. I think he might actually have some pressure on him from other entities in the city. But because of his prior handling of many situations, I don't think that he would take the optimal action. I'll just put it that way. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 46 people watching and we got 54 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 70, that'd be great.
To put it mildly.
Well, Steve, Natasha, yeah, this is really unbelievable. The way extradition works is when a suspect is arrested in a different state, the state in which the crime was committed requests that person be sent to their state to face justice. That extradition request is granted just about every single time, which is what makes it so mind-boggling. The prosecutor in Arizona says, though, she has a very good reason, and it has to do with how the district attorney in Manhattan handles cases involving violent criminals.
We will not be agreeing to extradition.
Now, do you all think that this is a coordinated effort to make Alvin Bragg look bad? I believe that this is absolutely an on-code coordinated effort to not only emasculate Alvin Bragg, but to make him look bad. However, if you ask me, by simply not doing basic things, Alvin Bragg set himself up for this vulnerability to get exploited. I don't feel sorry for Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg is going to be left to his devices, and he's going to look like a piece of butterscotch pudding that got thrown down onto a countertop off of a spoon with glasses on. And that's just what it's going to be for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel sorry for that dude. He's a clown. And clowns belong at the circus, not in a courtroom, unless they're being tried for something.
Criminals.
We will not be agreeing to extradition.
A simple sentence, but a devastating one in the case of the murder at the Soho 54 Hotel in Lower Manhattan, where 2 weeks ago, the body of 38-year-old Queens resident Denise Oleas Arab Sibia was found in room 1109. A broken iron believed to be the murder weapon after the medical examiner determined she was killed by blunt force trauma to her head. That was 2 weeks ago. And the good news yesterday was that police in Arizona arrested the suspect in the case, 26-year-old Rod Al-Mansouri. But in an astonishing twist, Arizona officials tonight say they are refusing to extradite Al-Mansouri to New York, saying Manhattan's district attorney, Alvin Bragg, cannot be trusted.
He is. Look at him.
Having observed.
Look at him, looking like the light-skinned Grimace. Where your neck at? It's a lot of politicians that wear neckties and don't have necks. Look at him. Looking like a freshly squeezed turd with a suit on.
Having observed the treatment of violent criminals in the New York area by the Manhattan DA there, Alvin Bragg, I think it's safer to keep him here and keep him in custody.
The statement comes after Bragg's controversial handling of high-profile incidents, including the release of suspects in the case of migrants assaulting NYPD officers in Times Square, even kicking one in the head. As for Al-Mansouri, Arizona police say he was arrested Sunday after stabbing a female McDonald's employee multiple times.
Why are you at McDonald's stabbing people? He went from New York City, deleting somebody, to McDonald's and stab somebody up at McDonald's. What's really going on here? Why are you going from state to state, place to place, stabbing people? Yeah, he do look like Cooper King, look like Bowser. Do you all think that if they vetted some of these undocumented people, they might have been able to find that this dude has a violent, misogynistic tendency? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but the culture that he's from encourages a violent, misogynistic tendency. That's not really compatible with the pro-female, modern woman encouraging culture that we have here in the United States. It's not really compatible too much. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
He's accused of stabbing 2 women in the Phoenix area in his most recent violent spree, and in April, kidnapped and sexually assaulted a woman in Florida. But if the refusal to extradite al-Mansouri to New York to face murder charges is rooted in the fear he could walk, some are asking why Florida set him free after he was arrested there for the kidnapping and assault. And a report.
Now, Florida's DeSantis' state. So that is a great question. And I'm going to ask you guys this question. I thought Florida was the state where woke goes to be deleted. It looks like Florida is the state where immigrants go to delete American citizens. And I think Ron DeSantis should have to answer to that. I mean, you poke your chest out all the time and sit there and say that Florida is the state where woke goes to be deleted, and you got intersectionals deleting your citizens, poking them up. I thought Ron DeSantis was never back down. I guess it's never back down only on those days when he ain't wearing them high heels.
Reporter in Arizona today asked officials there why they haven't charged him with more violent offenses.
Why wasn't an attempted homicide charge recommended in the Phoenix case? Records show the victim was stabbed in the neck, temple, and elsewhere, and he allegedly confessed to wanting to kill her.
So do y'all hear how insane this individual is? Do you all hear how insane it is? I don't want to put the name up, but there's a comment on Florida or on Facebook that says, "Have you ever been to Florida?" I've been to Florida multiple times, into multiple places. Not impressed, except for with Miami. And that's nothing that had to do with the government. That was because it was a good time. Florida is back all the way down. There's literally nothing impressive about Florida. There's a port in Florida. How many illegal migrants come in through the port of Miami? Florida is just like any other place. Hot air. You got a governor that's not a warrior. You got a bunch of Karens that cry at school about Black history. And you got a bunch of teachers down there fucking the students. That's Florida in a nutshell. Those teachers down there that fuck the minors would probably say that's Florida in a nutsack. Oh, yeah, Florida, man. All that craziness, facts. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
Charge recommended in the Phoenix case. Records show the victim was stabbed in the neck, temple, and elsewhere, and he allegedly confessed to wanting to kill her.
Yeah, we on the same page. We on the same page. we on the same page.
Now, the police answer to that reporter's question is that they're not done charging him yet. He may face more serious charges, but they're still collecting evidence. As for District Attorney Alvin Bragg, his office just releasing a statement saying that they're, quote, disturbed by the fact that the prosecutor in Arizona is playing political games.
I don't think that that's a political game. I don't think that that's a political game. And honestly, I'm not mad at that prosecutor in Arizona for doing that. I think that that prosecutor could arguably say that she's using her better judgment based on the bail and based on the action that was taken with the first incident with the migrants beating up the police. Alvin Bragg dropped the ball on that, not giving him the opportunity to drop the ball again. What do you guys think? How many people think that Alvin Bragg can be trusted to do a competent job at anything other than clear out a buffet table? If you guys think that he can, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that he can, give me a thumbs down. I think if Alvin Bragg got in front of a buffet table, he'd be like, I'll tear this shit up. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it. He ain't doing too much of anything else. So now Alvin Bragg decides to respond back. Okay. He's been flamed. He's been blamed. He's been flamed. He's been flamed, he's been blamed, and he's been shamed. Now he's getting named. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he ain't competent at the bus tables. Now he'd eat up some food though, but that's about it. He ain't washing no dishes. He ain't got time for that. He gotta put that food back. He gotta put them calories back. So now he's responding to the prosecutors, and I bet you he responded in his highest pitched voice that he can.
An announcement from the Maricopa County Attorney, certainly a surprise, with prosecutors essentially saying that they don't trust Bragg and it would be safer to keep the suspect locked up out west.
All right, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt joins us live with how Bragg is reacting to this back and forth war of words. Linda.
Yeah, good evening, first of all, to both of you. And today, one thing that he did at the top here, he took the unusual step of holding a news conference to fire back, as you just said, at the prosecutor in Maricopa County, Arizona. Yesterday, she bashed him and his policies. And today, he said pretty much he had just had enough. Last night, he had issued a statement, his office. But today, he decided that statement just was not enough. So he got in front of the cameras today. Now, 26-year-old Rod Al-Mansouri is wanted for the murder of Queens mother and escort worker Denise Olias Aron-Sabir.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many people feel that Alvin Bragg is competent? If you feel that Alvin Bragg is competent, give me a thumbs up. If you feel that Alvin Bragg is not competent, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Torian. Make sure if you guys are not subscribed to Torian's channel, y'all go and check Torian's channel out. And shout out to Aristopat. What's good with it, bro? If y'all not subscribed to Aristopat, make sure y'all go check his channel out too. Yeah, I gotta agree. Shout out to PD That Remains. Absolutely. I agree 100%. PD That Remains says he was butthurt because of incompetence. Probably butthurt because of incompetence, and probably there's no cushion thick enough to pad his sacrum when he sits down from all of the excess weight pushing down on it because of his trapezoid shape. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, probably one of the causes of his butt hurt is incompetence. The other cause of it is obviously obesity. You know what I'm saying?
Now, her body was found in a hotel room at the Soho 54 Hotel 2 weeks ago. She had been bludgeoned with an
Shout out
iron.
to Cameron. What's good with it, bro?
Al-Mansouri was arrested in Maricopa County, Arizona, for stabbing 2 women in separate attacks there. One of them happening inside a McDonald's, where he is accused of stabbing the woman multiple times. Plus, law enforcement says he has a long rap sheet, including crimes in Texas and Florida. Well, DA Bragg wanted him extradited back here to New York for the murder here, but the Republican prosecutor in Arizona instead held a press conference yesterday, and she refused to extradite the suspect, saying Democrat Bragg and his policies cannot be trusted to keep a murderer behind bars. Today, Bragg calling her comments political grandstanding at the
Now, here's my thing, right? Instead of calling the comments political grandstanding, why doesn't he show evidence of how her comments are incorrect? What do you guys think about that? Because her comments may be political grandstanding. They may be political grandstanding, but where's the evidence that they're incorrect comments? Here's my question for you guys. Are they incorrect comments? Or are they correct comments? Which one? Let me know.
Defense of a murdered mother.
Having observed the treatment of violent criminals in the New York area by the Manhattan DA there, Alvin Bragg, I think it's safer to keep him here and keep him in custody so that he cannot be out doing this to individuals either in our state or county.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Cameron Jones. Cameron Jones says that Alvin Bragg is the type of dude that gets in the pool with a t-shirt on to hide that physique. And he wears his towel around him like how women wear the towel around them when they get out of the shower. You know how women get out of the shower and wear the towel up high? You know what I'm saying? To, you know, for quote unquote privacy. Bragg wears his towel like that when he gets out of the pool with a t-shirt on. Because once that t-shirt gets wet, you know what I'm saying? You can still see those pectoral skin folds that he has. You know what I'm saying?
Me or anywhere in the United States.
It cheapens justice and it does not center the victims. It is inappropriate. She professes concern that a murder suspect in Manhattan would be released. I do not know what they do in Arizona, but I know that here in this county, New York County, we routinely seek and get remands, which means the person's in custody in our murder cases.
DA Bragg saying those are the facts. He also said the next step here is that in Arizona, the suspect will have a hearing, and at that point, he will either consent or not consent to extradition. If he does not consent, DA Bragg's office will put together an extradition package, give it to Governor Hochul's office, which is standard operating procedure. This happens all the time, pretty much every day, when they're dealing with extraditions. And then the governor's office here will deal with the governor's office in Arizona to get him extradited back here to New York. Back inside to you.
Now, here's my question. Shout out to Jesse. I don't know if Jesse is still in here. I'm going to talk about this in a different stream, but I want to show you guys something real quick. We're going to take it back to Colorado for a hot second. Hold on real quick. My bad. And there's a reason that I got to take it back to Colorado. I got to show y'all something real quick. Let's see. Okay. I plan on doing a live stream about this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have time or not, but I plan on doing a live stream about this, right? Now, you may say, how is this related to the migrant crisis? You will see. You guys see that headline right there? Colorado's largest hospital system is quietly suing thousands of patients every year over unpaid bills. Okay. Hold that thought. They're suing the Colorado residents over unpaid bills, right? But they're letting bills remain unpaid for undocumented folks. Hospitals' uncompensated care for migrants in Colorado is not sustainable. University of Colorado Hospital in Aurora provided $10 million in uncompensated care in just 3 months. So imagine that, right? How many sets of 3 months are there in a year? There's 4 sets of 3 months, right? So that means that that would be $40 million per year at this one particular hospital. If this $10 million stays the same every quarter, just $10 million a quarter. What does that do to the ability of the people of Colorado to be able to get health care? You can't split all of these resources evenly or equally. You know what I'm saying? UC Health needs more money and support to keep responding to the surge in migrants arriving in Metro Denver. The health system's leaders are warning after University of Colorado Hospital provided $10 million in uncompensated care in just 3 months. That is going to destroy the healthcare system there. That's going to break the bank. Would you guys agree? Now, you guys remember a couple months ago, I did a video where we talked about the unsustainable nature of this migrant crisis in Denver and what it's doing to the hospital. Here we are back again. Healthcare workers want to help, but hospitals can't keep providing this level of uncompensated care, let alone meet migrant patients' full needs, said Dr. Richard Zane, an emergency medical physician and UC Health's chief innovation officer. Now, mind you, they're not even discussing what's going on with citizen patients. They're not even discussing that. UC Health needs to receive reimbursement to have somewhere to refer patients for housing and other supports, he said. It's not sustainable. Y'all know what to do. It's not sustainable. So now I think that we've been vindicated in showing that this is not a sustainable situation. Here's my question. What are the politicians doing to try and make this situation disappear, to try to ease the situation down or make it milder? What are politicians doing? Is there any effort to try to improve sustainability? If you ask me, there's not. There hasn't been any visible effort to fix any of this. In January, Denver Health reported its recovering finances would be in danger again this year if the safety net hospital didn't receive more funding to care for migrants arriving with no insurance and little money. Other Colorado systems say they're facing a similar challenge, though most have more financial cushion. UC Health estimated its other hospitals provided about $7 million in uncompensated care to people it identified as likely migrants between November and January, on top of the $10 million provided at the University of Colorado Hospital campus in Aurora. The hospitals don't ask patients about their immigration status, but compile data about care given to people who don't have a social security number or health insurance. Why are they getting care? Think about that, y'all. Why are they getting care? How are you even caring for them if they don't have any of these records? Somebody make this make sense. About 5,800 patients who fell into that category received emergency inpatient or outpatient care there for the first time during 3 months, according to UC Health. That figure doesn't include immigrants who had sought care from the system before, or those who qualified for emergency Medicaid, which covers undocumented patients in labor and those with some life-threatening conditions. How are they covered and they're not paying into it? Seriously, you guys, think about that and answer that question for me in the comment section. How are they paying for it? Think about that. Where's the money coming from? Real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 49 people watching. We got 61 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 80, that'd be great. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Shout out to Ty Valentine. What's good with it, bro? Do you all think that the financial stress that the migrants are putting on the hospital is what is causing the hospital to turn around and say, we're going to sue the American citizens for their bills that they owe? Because we got to recoup this money from somewhere. So we're going to get it from the most likely place where we can recoup it. You guys think that that's a thing? The true numbers may be higher, and they don't fully capture the impact of so many people with complex health problems arriving in a short window, Zane said. Many migrants have chronic conditions that they couldn't treat on their journey to the United States, and trauma from being trafficked or abused in their home countries or on the way, he said. Others have simpler needs, like routine vaccinations, obstetrical care, which are complicated by their lack of resources. But the United States is completely supplementing their resources. Would you guys, if you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. The United States is completely supplementing their resources. People who recently arrived and don't have legal permission to work are struggling with homelessness, lack of transportation, inability to pay for medical care, and lack of access to nutritious food, and they may not know what city they'll be living in a few months from now, Zane said. Let me ask you guys this. Are these all problems that Americans also have? All of these problems that they just listed, these are all issues that every single American has. Why do you get to come here, have these issues self-induced as a result of you illegally coming, and then you get prioritized to get those issues taken care of before American people who've been dealing with this? Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. I want you guys, what's going on right now? Do you guys remember the New Deal that who is it? Who did it? Roosevelt did the New Deal. This is the New Deal for the undocumented bros. They are manufacturing a new middle class the same way they manufactured the current middle class. Peep game. Which is why we got to manufacture our own affluent class. We're going to have considerable difficulty attempting to do it politically through the means available. Yeah, and that's facts. Shout out to RJ Quick. I agree. RJ Quick said, man, most of white America is in their paradise. Facts. They're manufacturing an undocumented middle class right now as we speak. As we speak. Do you all notice how that's not the language being used in the mainstream media when talking about this? Manufacturing a new middle class. You guys notice that? Why would they not talk about it in those terms? Because that's exactly what's happening. That's what's going on. That is indeed the situation. Right? Would you guys agree? Exactly. And that's the point, Deneen. Facts. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen says black people were locked out of FDR's New Deal and this current New Deal. Facts. Everybody else is getting a new deal. We're getting a raw deal. Peep game. You know what I'm saying? Look at how they're fixing these medical bills. In some cases, even following up with patients' test results is a challenge because they may not have a place to charge their phones, he said. UC Health brought on additional providers, social workers, care coordinators, and others to help meet the demand, but getting people housed and insured is beyond the health system's capacity, Zane said. Look at this. It's societal responsibility, not just a hospital responsibility, he said. I'm sorry, it's not a societal responsibility. I disagree with that. How many people feel that this is a societal responsibility to take care of these people? If you guys feel that way, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't feel that way, then give me a thumbs down. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to RJ Quick. That's exactly my point, bro. RJ Quick says this is a repeat of what whites got when they immigrated here. They just got more. And and these people here ain't getting the land grabs, but technically they are because the government is helping them land grab black majority Black American neighborhoods and areas. The government is assisting them with that effort. Now, see, shout out to RJ, right? Because this is what I'm saying about y'all got a peep game. How many people have worked at a place when a new group of management comes in? What happens when a new group of management comes in? The new group of management comes in and, quote unquote, attempts to get rid of the, quote unquote, indigenous workers, meaning the workers who were there before that new management group arrived. So then they can bring in their friends, so they can bring in their family, so they can bring in their cronies. And a lot of times when new management comes in, the only people from the, quote unquote, indigenous group of employees who was there are the ones who decide to roll on everybody and flip on everybody and kiss ass to the new people. As you stay at that job and they bring in these new people, the new people will get all the opportunities. They'll create positions for these people to work. They'll have every excuse why the position wasn't posted internally. And you'll be stuck until the next group of people comes in. How many people has seen that? Or how many people has worked through a situation like that at their job or at some job at some point in their life? They use the same strategy. So what you're looking at is you're looking at that on a societal scale, not just on a work scale. It's never of benefit for invaders to keep the people that have the most knowledge of the land or of the job or whatever around. So they get rid of them. Why is it not convenient? Well, you're going to get rid of these people that got 100 and 200 hours per year of PTO because you need people to work. You got people sweeping the floor that's making as much as one of your administrative assistants because they've been working there for 20 years. It's not good on the budget. We're going to get rid of all of these people. This is what the United States is making an attempt to do to us for the exact same reasons, but also additional reasons. You got resident privileges. You've been working there for 20 years. You don't have to work weekends. Well, we're short on the weekends, and we got this position that somebody's locked into. And because they're locked into that position, we can't make them work on the weekend. We need 2 weekend spots to fill. This is inconvenient. We could get rid of this one person. And fill those weekend spots. Now we got to hire another person and keep this person on because their seniority allows them to be off on the weekend. Got to get rid of this person. That's what the United States is attempting to do to us. And I say attempting because we can stop them. We just have to make the choice to stop them. People got to decide what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the city of Denver estimated more than 38,000 migrants have arrived since December of 2022, and about half opted to stay in the area. Most are Venezuelans fleeing a humanitarian crisis, according to the city. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is La Tren de Agua fleeing humanitarian crisis, or is La Tren de Agua the humanitarian crisis? They're not fleeing a humanitarian crisis. They're fleeing a prison system crisis. We've already talked about this before. I'm sorry, but the city of Colorado, I'm sorry, the city of Denver is not the social political authority on what's driving Venezuelan migration. Sorry, you're not. You can sit that one out while we tell the real news about what's going on. Denver Health reported in January that about 8,000 people from Central America had made a combined 20,000 visits in 2023. It estimated those patients needed about $10 million in care the hospital didn't get paid to deliver. The total could include some people who were in Denver for other reasons and missed migrants from other parts of the world. Hospitals vary in what they charge for care. So the same procedure performed without pay at two facilities may yield different levels of uncompensated care, and some hospitals may be performing more complicated and expensive procedures than others. In addition, some may be more comprehensive than others in calculating their estimates. Tracking how many patients are recent arrivals from overseas can be challenging because people aren't always comfortable talking about their immigration status, and they shouldn't, because they're probably worried about getting deported. It don't matter if they're comfortable or not. You have to disclose that. The hell? Somebody make this make sense. Electronic medical records don't have a box to specify how long a person has been in the country, so collecting data on all foreign-born people could mislabel long-standing immigrant communities, she said. Banner Health, which owns 5 Colorado hospitals, including McKee Medical Center in Loveland, said it couldn't break down its charity care costs by immigration status. Intermountain Health, which owns St. Joseph Hospital in Denver and Lutheran Medical Center in Wheat Ridge, among others, said the same. So now, again, if they're not capable of providing this kind of care and they're not capable of tracking it, then my question for you guys is, why are they doing this? Think about this, y'all. Why are they doing this? Make it make sense. Advent Health, which owns the Adventist hospitals in the Denver area, said it also wasn't certain how many recent immigrants its Colorado hospitals treated, but the steady stream of new arrivals likely contributed to its 31% increase in charity care from November to January compared to the previous year. Health One estimated inpatient stays by undocumented people increased by more than 6-fold as Colorado hospitals from 2022 to 2023, but couldn't say how many patients it had treated in that time. Probably 6-fold, right? The assumption there would probably be 6-fold, wouldn't you say? Our care teams continue to provide skilled, compassionate care during these visits and work to identify community resources to aid in follow-up care when appropriate, spokeswoman Stephanie Sullivan said. Caring for new arrivals is doubly challenging because almost none have medical records with them, UC Health Zane said, which means providers have to start from scratch and run more tests to figure out what's ailing the patient, let alone how to help them, he said. Someone who has complex medical conditions, it's highly unlikely to know the history of the care that they've received, he said. Denver University of Colorado Health is about to let the undocumented bros epidemic destroy it, which is completely inconsiderate to the tax-paying people that live there. Completely inconsiderate. Would you guys agree? You have to ask yourself the question, who is coming up with this nonsense? Who is it that's making these decisions? Who is it that's voting these people in office? None of this stuff is popular with anybody. Take a look. We're going to take a look at a video from News Nation real quick. The rest of what I got are a series of videos. We're going to take a look at some stuff going on in Arizona. We're also going to take a look at some stuff going on in California. Now, let me ask you guys this question. So far, we're an hour and 36 minutes deep into this live stream. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel. And also, please share the stream to your social media. So far, we've talked about New York, and we've talked about Colorado. We still have some other places to talk about. But at halftime, have I convinced you that the migrant crisis will finish New York and it will finish Denver, Colorado Springs, Aurora, all those cities in Colorado? If you guys feel that it will, give me a thumbs up. If you guys feel that it will not, then give me a thumbs down. We're going to look at some things going on in Arizona.
We do continue to keep a close eye on our southern border. Growing calls for the federal government for solutions to the migrant surge. Many now looking at what Texas Governor Greg Abbott did to decrease migrant crossings in his state. But solutions to the border crisis are not one size fits all. Look at this, as our Allie Bradley learned during a helicopter ride above the border. This is in Arizona. And correspondent Allie Bradley is live for us now, back in the sky there. Wow, Allie, what are you seeing from up there?
Yeah, hey, Nicole, we are live right now with the Cochise County Sheriff, or Hawkeye, and we are in the Tucson sector on patrol. We are literally patrolling the border. We have only seen one Border Patrol agent out here in this area. This is the area I'm regularly at in Naco, where we watch people jump that wall, and that is what they're dealing with here in Cochise County. The Tucson sector is one of the busiest sectors, of course, right now that we're dealing with. Let me shut this so you guys can hear a little bit better, and that way we can get this set up. There we go. All right, so the Tucson sector, Nicole, it is the busiest sector right now. We are seeing the highest number of crossings. We have seen over 282,000 people cross into this sector just since this fiscal year began. For some perspective, when we compare that to the same time frame last year, we're looking at 104,000. So a sizable jump. And again, this sector hasn't been dealing with people who are coming over and self-surrendering until recently. They have been a got-away sector. So what these people are doing is they're running through this vast Mexico region here, jumping the wall, running through these areas that are obviously desolate. They are hard.
So as you guys can see, what's going on here is that there's a change in pattern of where people are trying to enter into the country because of the changes that have been implemented by Abbott. It's not as easy for them to get in through Texas. So now what they're doing is they're going to these remote areas in places like Southern California and some of these uninhabited places in Arizona, and that's where they're getting in. As you guys heard, what she said earlier was that there was only one Border Patrol agent in this entire area. So now here's my question. How are they supposed to enforce anything with only one Border Patrol agent there?
To traverse, and there is no access to these roads. So a lot of these individuals are getting picked up by those load vehicles, and that's how these pursuits are really happening. So we want to kind of break down the sectors for you here. So from some perspective that we're seeing in this sector, I told you those numbers, that breakdown, and a lot of those people are trying to evade, so they aren't going to count in those numbers that I told you about. The wall alone, though, you can see where we are live. We're literally flying alongside the wall here. Now, just about every administration has had some sort of border wall. This one right now was the one erected mostly under the Obama administration. It's about 17 or 18 feet. The one that President Trump had started to work on was about 30 feet. So the wall structure right now is something that is a sticking point for a lot of Republican lawmakers
they want that border security, they want that wall. But the thing is, a lot of lawmakers or law enforcement will say that the wall isn't the one solution. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach because not everywhere along the border looks like this, and that's the reality. So take a listen to what Sheriff Mark Daniels had to say about what they're dealing with here in Cochise County.
People think the wall's the solution. The wall's a component of the solution. And sadly to say, the wall or any technology is only good as people standing behind it and standing with it. And right now you see there's not a lot standing with it. It makes it really challenging. I know the agents are challenging.
Now, I shouldn't have to say this, right? I shouldn't have to say this, but I got to say it because somebody left it in the comment section last time. I don't know if anybody is aware, but when there's a video that's posted on YouTube, I have no control over the sound quality of the video posted on YouTube because I didn't produce the video. I can only control the sound quality from my own microphone and from my own videos that I use, whether I play them from YouTube that I've created from my own editing studio, or videos that I've uploaded into my encoder, which this time I happen to be using StreamYard. To the non-tech savvy people, do you guys hear how Allie's voice is distorted? Do you guys hear how this guy's voice is distorted? It's because they're in a helicopter. It has nothing to do with anything on my end. You shouldn't have to explain that. But I was informed after reading my comment section that you do have to explain that. So I'm explaining that. That guy's voice is not very high. It's not because I need a new speaker, because speakers don't have anything to do with the audio output that you all hear. Okay?
On that, they're very frustrated with that because their job, their oath was to protect this country and the homeland.
Forward here, Nicole. We know Congress is obviously in a deadlock, Nicole. We haven't had much movement at all. We know that Senate bill didn't make any headway. So what is the solution, right? But Sheriff Mark Daniels says that one thing is for sure, that the wall is a clear symbol of trespass. So when someone crosses through...
And I just want to say that as a disclaimer, right? Shout out to everybody that knows how this stuff works, right? I'm not, this is not a blanket statement. This is in response to the individual who says that I, quote unquote, need to, quote unquote, get my speakers, quote unquote, fixed. My speakers have nothing to do with the audio output. But if you're concerned about my speakers, I have a $300 set of speakers at each streaming station in my studio. And I have 2 streaming stations in my studio. Okay? All right. All right. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate everybody in the building. If y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell. Now, look, hold on real quick, y'all. Hold on real quick. Now, somebody asked me some shit about my shit again. Ask me about my studio again. I gotta get it together. I gotta get it queued up real quick. Oh man, that's hilarious. Look, you see my hand shaking? You hear my voice shaking? Say something crazy again. Y'all already know what's coming. Say something crazy again.
You don't want me to get mad. If I tie this bitch up, I will. I'll tear this bitch up.
Ask me about say some dumb shit about the sound again.
Tear this bitch up from the plum to the ruler. You don't fuck with me. Get the fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. If I tie this bitch up.
Swing the remix God. Ask me about my speakers again.
I'll tear this bitch up. I'll tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will.
Oh man, that's great, man. That's great. That's platinum. You know what I'm saying? That's platinum.
Mexico through this vast land and they jump that wall, they know that they have done something illegal. And right now, like I said, we're on patrol. The sheriff's department here, they supplement Border Patrol and work very closely with Border Patrol and local law enforcement on the ground as well. And Nicole, what happens here? We talked about those pursuits. The sheriff says they see between 2 and 10 pursuits a day, but he just told me today they're starting to see those numbers go up as well. So a vast difference from what they're dealing with, say, in places like Eagle Pass or even in San Diego.
All right, Allie Bradley, live for us there in the air over the border near Arizona. Thank you.
All right, so there's that. All right. Shout out to Allie for being in the helicopter with the door open. I'd have had that bad boy closed if that was me. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? In Arizona, the migrant funds have run completely out. They are on E. They're not even running on fumes. There's no funds at all. No funds whatsoever. So they say that as a result of not having any funds, guess what? There's going to be a rise in homelessness. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that this is going to be a combo deal? This is going to be a package deal? Is there going to be a rise in homelessness and a rise in crime to complement that? Let me know what y'all think.
The crisis at our southern border in Arizona, the busiest sector of the border, could soon see a crisis of its own as federal funding meant to help house migrants in Tucson is expected to dry up. That would mean shelters could close, forcing hundreds of migrants onto the streets. News Nation correspondent.
Now, here goes my question. How many people know about the drama in San Diego? If you're aware of the drama in San Diego, give me a thumbs up. If you're not aware of the drama in San Diego, then give me a thumbs down. Because there's big drama in San Diego. You want to know why? You want to know why? If you want to know why, you got to keep watching.
Correspondent Allie Bradley live near the border in Douglas, Arizona with this. Allie, it is a tough situation there, I understand.
Yeah, tough situation indeed here. Local leaders, Natasha, really between a rock and a hard place because they want to help these migrants who have been processed and released by Border Patrol because they have no intention of staying in these border communities. So they want to get them closer to their final destination, but they're running out of money to do that. So let's break down what's really going on in the Tucson sector. As you mentioned, it is the busiest sector, and leaders here along the border have worked tirelessly to try to avoid having people released by Border Patrol to the streets, like what we saw in El Paso. You remember that scene playing out. Well, NGOs and local partners, they're
Now, keep that in mind, all right? Keep that in mind about the concern about releasing people, quote unquote, into the street. Okay? Because there are indeed situations that are going down right now where there are just literally massive amounts of people just getting dumped into the middle of the street. Okay? Which is going to set up what kind of situation for these areas where these people are just getting dumped into the middle of the street.
up against a wall as federal funding that has supported Pima County's efforts in helping to transport and assist migrants is also running out. Documents obtained by News Nation show that county officials were informed just a few days ago that the funding from the federal government is going to come to an end on March 31st.
Now, here's my question for you guys. See, we got to pay very close attention to this. They're not talking about this in the mainstream media. If the funding from the government is running out in one place, more than likely it's probably running out in other places, right? Now, my question for everybody is, what is going to happen now? What happens now that the funding has run out? How does that work? How does that look? What occurs now?
With no plan laid out on how to mitigate the fallout and no available funds, the Tucson sector's busiest migrant shelter, Casa Alitas, is going to have around 30 employees laid off, and people living in the Tucson area will likely start seeing agents releasing up to around 400 migrants who have been processed and released onto the streets.
So there goes the literally, there goes the neighborhood. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How do you think that the taxpayers in those neighborhoods feel about that? We got anybody that lives in Arizona that's watching the live stream right now? If you from Arizona, or you stay in Arizona, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Now, this isn't something that is restricted to Arizona. This is something that's ultimately going to occur in all of these places. This is going to ultimately occur in all of these places. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. It's just a matter of time before this happens in all these places.
On how to mitigate the fallout and no available funds, the Tucson sector's busiest migrant shelter, Casa Alitas, is going to have around 30 employees.
Yeah, I got to agree. I agree with Patrick right here. Patrick says, I don't think a lot of white people care. I got some on the right who do, but it's mostly they don't care. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's probably true. We definitely, maybe one of these days I'll be able to get some interviews up. We'll definitely ask. You know what I'm saying? But my assumption would be to agree.
Is laid off, and people living in the Tucson area will likely start seeing agents releasing up to around 400 migrants who have been processed and released onto the streets each and every day without any means of support. So here in Douglas, if that busing stops, the one church.
So is this going to increase the crime rate? What effect is this situation going to have on crime? Is it going to affect crime?
That is assisting will inevitably be overrun, while some living behind the church say they're concerned what will happen if those buses stop and desperation sets in when people have nowhere to go. Others working at the church say they're confident that that money will be found and they will be able to keep transporting individuals.
Different people looking for money for bus and food here.
You're not worried about it. You think they'll find the money?
Yeah.
You'll find it. Okay.
No, right then it depends what can happen. So if somebody comes in and somebody's waiting for something, they're gonna want to think what's going on.
Yeah, there's going to be people that need help, right? So what's even more interesting here in the Tucson sector is that these migrants being released daily here in Douglas, there were at least 92 released just the other day. They didn't even cross here. Cochise County Emergency Management Director Dan Deschone says that they're actually being transported here by Border Patrol after they've entered illegally in another area. And
why is Border Patrol transporting them all over the place? We got to slow this stuff down and analyze each one of these steps that's occurring. Why would Border Patrol do this like this? Why are they taking people from one place and then dropping them off at another place? Does this make any sense?
And then they were transported and released here. Again, Douglas is a very small community. There are some concerns of what might happen, but right now it is contained at that church, Natasha. Now, right behind me in this building, in about a half hour, Senator Kyrsten Sinema is going to be here. Of course, Arizona's independent senator. She'll be talking with local lawmakers and leaders about solutions moving forward because, Natasha, right now we know Congress isn't making any progress when it comes to immigration.
Certainly. Allie Bradley live in Douglas, Arizona with that. Thank you.
All right, so there's that. All right, so we've talked about Arizona, right? So we've covered 3 states. We've covered New York. We've covered Colorado, and we've covered Arizona, and we've covered a lot of the cities within each of those 3 states. Next, we're going to move to a place that has already been destroyed by the influx of illegal migrants. This place was destroyed by the influx of illegal migrants before people had sense enough to pick their heads up and look around and see what was going on around them. California.
Southern California feeling the brunt of the border crisis, now in year number 4. In Jacumba today, Fox News cameras rolled as illegal crossings continued without resistance in the remote terrain of eastern.
Do you guys hear that? In California, they getting in, no resistance. How many people knew that this was going down in Cali? California. How many people knew that this was going down there? Southern California. It never rains in Southern California. It never rains in Southern California, but they don't stop migrants from crossing into the United States down there either.
Southern California feeling the brunt of the border crisis, now in year number 4. In Jacumba today, Fox News cameras rolled as illegal crossings continued without resistance in the remote terrain of eastern San Diego County. Where are you from? China? China? Ecuador.
Now you see all these people from China? Win, lose, or rug said it's an everyday thing, like Bone. You know what I'm saying? It's an everyday thing when you let the gate swing. They're going to let them migrants stay. Let turn they agua and they bang. Now follow me now. See, down to the border wall, G. we climbing, crawling. Man, oh man.
Ecuador. We used Google Translate to communicate with one of the Chinese men. He told us how his group got to the U.S.
Flew from Turkey.
Turkey? Yeah. Airplane. Did you land in Tijuana, Mexico?
是的.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want a job? Do you want to work?
是的，我想要工作.
Yes. Republican Congressman Darrell Issa represents the Jacumba area. He was here today witnessing the surge of illegal crossings in his district, which has seen more than 20,000 Chinese nationals arrive since October.
What I saw today was shocking. Chinese and other nationals from around the world no longer saying they're coming here for asylum. They're admitting they're coming.
Now, do you see this? Again, this is a local news station, guys. This is not an opinion-based news station. This is a local news station. Did you hear what that guy just said? Let's listen again.
1,000 Chinese nationals arrive since October.
What I saw today was shocking. Chinese and other nationals from around the world no longer saying they're coming here for asylum. They're admitting they're coming here for jobs. They hear that they'll get in, and they will.
Border Patrol reports San Diego sector has now seen over 140,000 illegal crossings since October. That's about the size of Dayton, Ohio. Many coming from Asia. Where are you from?
India.
India.
China.
China.
Georgia.
Georgia. Ma'am, where are you from?
China.
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 Yeah.
China.
Yeah. China.
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 My message to President Biden is close down the border based on the policy changes that have allowed this.
And Border Patrol says the number of Chinese nationals crossing illegally here in the San Diego sector is now up 500% over the same time last year.
The amount of Chinese nationals is now up 500%, ladies and gentlemen. 500%. Who's responsible for this? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you all. If you all have not smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell. We got 60 people watching and we got 84 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to our 100, that would be great. I don't know what to say anymore at this point. None of these places are going to be able to sustain these amounts of people coming in. Yeah, I got to agree. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, my girl works in politics. I know about this. This is why I rock with you and the message heavy. We need to be in competition mode and ready to play unfair. Facts. You seen what happened the other day, bro. We start talking that hot stuff, man. People start scattering like ants. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But those people that are ready to play hardball, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all, man. We need to start playing hardball.
Chinese migrants are among the fastest growing group flowing into the country, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. COVID restrictions and China's current.
And now what's interesting about it, right, is they said that the Chinese border crossings have increased 500% from last year to this year. And California is where they're crossing at. And California is the closest state to China. But, you know, they're not looking at how that might be related to it or anything. Somebody make it make sense.
Chinese migrants are among the fastest growing group flowing into the country, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. COVID restrictions and China's current political climate believed to be some of the reasons behind that influx. Let's bring in Jim Desmond, the San Diego County supervisor who went to the border himself at the very beginning of the year. He says California has, quote, rolled out the welcome mat for illegal immigration. He joins us now. Good morning to you, Jim. Thanks for hopping on. I just want, the sheer numbers that you have seen. I mean, more than 100,000 migrant encounters the last 4 months in San Diego County. You say migrants are taking the path of least resistance here. What do you mean by that?
Well, we are rolling out the red carpet, Marky. I mean, we give them free health care. We give them.
So again, this is more evidence being compiled that they're creating a new middle class. This is a different kind of New Deal. Now, shout out to Patrick, right? Patrick says too many blacks into celebrity gossip, church, and other frivolous shit. Now, here's my thing. That could be the case. People from every group are into celebrity gossip, church, and other frivolous shit. There's a group of people who are supposed to be the quote unquote designated leaders. There's a group of people that are supposed to be the effective power hitters. Because when it comes to every single group of people, when it comes to every group of people across the world, who makes the moves that benefits those groups? Is it the entire group of people? Or is it the people who lead the group of people? Is every person in China the reason why China is one of the strongest countries in the world? Or is it the people that are the leading group, Xi Jinping and company? What about in Russia? Is it the entire 11 time zone population of Russia that makes Russia a powerful country? Or is it Putin and Lavrov and that group of oligarchs that takes care of things? So, right. So, Patrick, you said that blacks don't have that, right? But here's the thing. Do we not have it? Because what you're saying is that white power elevates clowns as leaders for blacks. So my question is, why are people accepting the people that white people elevate as leaders? Why would anybody accept those people? And why do people not elevate and build their own leaders? My question is, why would anybody expect an enemy why would anybody expect the Matrix to find Neo to do anything other than destroy Neo? You think that the Matrix is going to find Neo to help people get out of Zion? White people elevating idiots and then giving black people the choice to choose those people as leaders or not. If they're in competition and the goal of the competition, if the goal of the competition is to continue to keep people's minds under control, then they're doing exactly what they should be doing. If we're supposed to be breaking this type of control and we're continuing to adopt carrots that keep getting put in front of our face, who's the people in the equation not doing what's supposed to be done? That's my question for you guys. If everybody knows that these people that are put in front of, quote unquote, put in front of everybody's face, because I'm gonna be 100% honest, I control my consumption of what I can, and as you guys can see, when people start talking about movies and TV and all that, I'm always lost in those conversations because I don't watch none of that. You know what I'm saying? So even that whole thing about, quote unquote, people being put in front of somebody's face, you still control your consumption. Then you can control what you take into consumption for. And if you know that the people that own these businesses, right, that's just it. Most people are sheep. So that's that. So what everybody else is doing is negligible because the problem is that people choose to be sheep. That's an internal problem. That's an internal problem. People either need to make that choice to not be a sheep or to be a sheep and understand that you have an expiration date. Those are the two choices. Don't be a sheep. Make peace with your expiration date. It's not as difficult as people try to make it. It's really not. It don't require a book. You know what I'm saying? It don't require a PhD. You know what I'm saying? It don't require, like, it's really just as simple as the laws of nature. We're living in as much as people say that we're powerless, right? That would solidify the fact that we live in an unnatural state in the world because powerless people perish. Powerless anything perishes. The laws of nature are that the strong survive. So if indeed we are indeed powerless and not surviving seems imminent, is the world correct? That's my question for everybody. Is the world correct? Because the laws of nature are that the strong survive. And if you're powerless, you're not strong. But somehow we're still here. Is that a guarantee? So if you live in a world where the strong survive and you're powerless, what's imminent? Extinction is imminent. So I think people should grapple with the choice. accept extinction, or fight for survival. Very, very simple. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. It's literally simply that simple. And then there's nothing else to it. Like all of this whacked out stuff that people be talking, it's not that difficult. It's either act or don't act. Either live or die. Now, here goes the thing, Patrick. It's the same with other groups of people. Every other with other groups of people, all the people within that group of people are not military. They're not all leaders. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't go as far as to say most blacks are useless. I'm not gonna go out on the ledge and say that. But if you feel that way, you know what I'm saying, you're entitled. I don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? I feel that we probably have a proportional amount of useful versus useless people that every other group of people has. You know what I'm saying? We deal with a lot of barriers that other people don't have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wouldn't say I give them credit. All I'm saying, bro, is that people should be aware. Be aware of the choice. Be aware of the direction that things can be moved in. And then here's the thing, right? Don't lie about making the choice to not move things in that direction. You see what I'm saying? I believe that people make a conscious choice to improve or to de-evolve. If you make a conscious choice to de-evolve, stand behind the conscious choice. Like Neely Fuller Jr. says, stand behind your work. This is where we are. Post-slavery. Stand behind the work. Regardless of where that work may have taken you, stand behind it. Could we have done more? I don't know. Could we have done less? I don't know. But this is where we are. Exactly. See, now you're getting what I'm saying, bro. Now you're getting that's exactly what I'm saying. Why do people ignore the warning signs? Right? Now, see, the warning signs are there, right? And then you got people saying, yo, look, check this stuff out. This is what's going on. What do people think about this? What do people think about that? And then they kind of just, it is what it is. Then when the situation gets right up to the precipice and something bad is about to happen, then all of a sudden, urgently, this change has got to come. And urgently, everybody's got to do it. Nah, not urgently. We don't have to do anything urgently. We've been talking about this kind of stuff forever. And we've looked at the majority of the actions that most people take. And the majority of the actions that most people take is that these things are not urgent. And without the action of everybody at least being aware and knowledgeable about these kind of things, it's really difficult for one person to be able to make the kind of impact that's necessary to change the trajectory of how things are going. So, it is what it is. The ship is sinking, and you kind of just be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to keep on playing Candy Crush until there's no more oxygen. And it is what it is. Black pill. You know what I mean? Shout out to James. James said most of us believe in all-inclusive. Now, here goes the thing. I don't have a problem with people believing in individual, interpersonal relationships and business dealings. But when you're looking at things as just assuming that other groups of people as a group are compatible with things that you may have going on, I think that that's kind of naive. But there's a lot of people that believe like that. You're right, though, James. A lot of people still believe in quote unquote all inclusive, and they fail to review the failures of all of the quote unquote all-inclusive stuff and just continue to keep, I don't know, banging their heads on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Until they get it to work, but it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Deneen. Deneen says Cat Williams, Monique, Beyonce top in the country charts. That's what most people see as urgent. A lot of people see that as urgent, right? I don't know why so many black people feel that only black people pay attention to and are distracted by celebrity gossip. I don't know if anybody reads the New York Post. I probably read it a little bit more than most people because I'm a content creator. White people are so interested in celebrity gossip. The New York Post has a second subsidiary called Page 6 that literally covers celebrity gossip. Even the main New York Post constantly making stories about Taylor Swift. We're not the only people that look at celebrities. There was a whole issue with white people being upset with Taylor Swift because she endorsed Biden. But like Neely Fuller Jr. said, because people only take out the parts of Neely Fuller Jr. that make them feel good, that they like to talk about, Neely Fuller Jr. said people have a problem with only staring at what we do and not staring at what everybody else does. I didn't say that, neither. Neely Fuller Jr. said that. I don't know if I don't know, Patrick. I've never been ingratiated into any of these other groups on a peer-to-peer basis to be able to assign them that kind of understanding. No, and I agree, Denise. I was just bringing that up as a point. You know what I'm saying? I was just bringing that up as a point. And my thing is that I see, me personally, I don't give these other people credit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what these other people do. I know that these people have a built-in infrastructure that makes it to where the majority of them don't even have to have a 20 IQ. So it may seem like they're doing so much, but it's automatically built in. Because when I see people say stuff like this, I just always think back to O'Shea Duke Jackson saying how hard of a worker Just Pearly Things is. And she's not a hard worker. She doesn't edit her own videos. She doesn't make her own thumbnails. She doesn't come up with her own content strategies and content ideas. She doesn't have any type of impactful content. That's something that she said is so impactful that people say it. People repeat her. She copies off of other people. She's a copycat. And because YouTube decided to give her 1 million subscribers, people say that she's a hard worker. What does she work hard at? She has an entire staff. So you got this built-in AI-friendly model that recommends you to other users, right? And because your exposure is higher, you get a massive influx of subscribers. Because you got that massive influx of subscribers, you get a massive influx of revenue to where you're able to expand your budget to create more professional content. And because I don't have that, somebody will say that I make content for the butter biscuits, for the biscuit circuit, for the chili for the chitlins and gravy circuit. I don't look at black people on YouTube as the chitlins and gravy circuit, but I've heard people say that. Jason Whitlock said it about Corey Holcomb. I don't look at it like that. So you mean to tell me that Corey Holcomb can do one live stream a week and have 12,000 people watching it live? Just Pearly Things got 1 million subs and she only get like 1.2K watching her shit. but somehow she's more of a hard worker than Corey Holcomb, even though Corey Holcomb got like 300 some thousand subs and Just Pearly Things got 1.2 million. She was given those subs. How do Corey Holcomb not have that? Corey Holcomb only got 300,000 subs, and when he goes live, he got more people watching than the Young Turks and all them people. I don't buy that. I don't buy none of that, and I'm not gonna buy any of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and degrade the quality of somebody's content just because it's a black person. I'm black. I'm supposed to be trying to find the value in what another black person got to offer. You know what I mean? I also realized that a lot of the algorithm and a lot of the program, the search engine optimization and all that is rigged. It's rigged. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna degrade somebody else's work ethic or somebody else's content creation ability because there's an unfair automation system. Governing it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the reason why I made that comment about the person who put in my comment section about the speakers. So you just assume, you're just gonna assume that there was an issue on my end. Why? The issue was on the mainstream media outlets' end, not mine. I have professional grade studio equipment. There's never been any type of sound issue or any type of visual issue with any of my content ever. The only issue that there might be is if the bandwidth is running slow on my internet, which is not because of anything that I have going on, because I have 2 internet servers so that I can get pure streaming speeds. You know what I'm saying? But the people that you're supposed to be making content to try to appeal to will just automatically look at you as if you just have the most unprofessional and just ghetto grade equipment, which is crazy. Because we don't need people like that looking at us like we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, because the other people is automatically looking at us like that. And if we haven't given any type of evidence showing that that's what we're doing, there's no need for people to try to make those kind of assumptions. But they do. You see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick. Patrick said, yes, a lot of blacks don't value blackness and look at our culture as lowbrow, which I don't get, considering you have people always to what we do. If we could circle the wagons, leverage our strength. Facts. And those are choices that people make. Those are choices. There's power in choice. You know what I'm saying? There's power in a choice, but you can't exercise that power that's in a choice if you've programmed yourself to believe that you are powerless. You know what I'm saying? You can't ever shrug off the impact or the influence that you have on your own destiny to anything. If you ask me, it's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think.
Actually, we'll pay for their lawyers if they get deported here in San Diego County, and we give them free transportation. Once they get to San Diego, we give them free transportation to wherever it is they're going in the country. So, and the fact that we're a sanctuary state, just, you know, why wouldn't somebody come here? And it's unfortunate. And I have been to that border crossing site, and I witnessed myself just people being dropped off and walking across. Border Patrol agents having their hands tied, and really, you know, the people would walk right up to the Border Patrol agents on our side once they come through that hole in the border, and then ask for asylum and then be processed and come through. I think, you know, unfortunately, the Biden administration is not upholding the current laws that we have, and with Texas and other places along the border, you know, really clamping down, we're seeing a spike and an increase, and they're people from around the world. And like you said, there's been a big spike here lately in the number of Chinese coming across the border and making their way, you know, right through the gaps that are there.
Yeah. And I also, you know, when I was thinking about my interview with you yesterday, when I knew you were coming on, I was thinking to myself, you know, it'd be one thing if you were the supervisor in a Texas county, right, where, you know, at least the governor has your back. Gavin Newsom, to your point, is now providing health insurance to 700,000 additional migrants. Crisis has skyrocketed.
So I want you guys to see, do you guys see this here? Governor Gavin Newsom we talked about this on the channel called Undocumented. If you're not subscribed to Undocumented, take a moment and subscribe to that channel. But we talked about this on Undocumented with Medi-Cal. Yeah, and I agree. These people are all for it. This is basically nothing but content for these people. You know what I'm saying? These people are all about the migrant influx. Their boy, Ronald Reagan, the OG MAGA, is the one who set all this up way back in the day.
Under the Biden administration. So how are you supposed to stop the bleed?
Well, you know, it's almost impossible. I'm trying to stop by getting other people elected here to Sacramento, our state capital, to make sure that we put laws in place that actually work. Because, you know, we do have the laws. It's just we got to be able to enforce them. You know, we've got embassies throughout the world for people to go to and apply for, you know, to come and seek asylum and become U.S. citizens. But everybody just comes through the hole in the fence and to jump to the head of the line. And unfortunately, eventually they'll get amnesty, or once they're in the country, you know, they don't show up for their hearings or their asylum hearings, which are usually years off. And so they just kind of blend in, and it's a lot easier path than actually following our laws that we have not been enforcing. And I think that's really the crux of the matter. You know, I'm not even sure we need a wall. If we just enforce our laws, that would be the best effort that we, I think, could do to get a handle on this.
And
we're just
speaking
taking
of
more people than we can handle.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about, you know, that hole that you've seen, that you have found. Let's touch on that. It's a 4-foot gap in the border fence just 60 miles east of San Diego, I believe. Chinese migrants discovered it with the help of TikTok, of all places and platforms.
So nobody sees a correlation that TikTok is helping Chinese migrants get into the country. Nobody, like, that hasn't been brought up, that there's a correlation to that. People always have been having this conversation about TikTok being a national security threat. And here's TikTok. Here's TikTok directing specifically Chinese migrants to this vulnerable area in the border, and still no investigation. Right, exactly. Shout out to Cameron. TikTok is owned by China. Right. What's being done about that?
Platforms. You saw the hole yourself. You know, describe that hole and what's been done to deter or block them from entering it. Is anybody patching it up?
Well, it's basically it's that large fence that you see, that big brown fence, and then it comes up to a mountain, basically a large hill, and the fence itself doesn't make the hill or go up the hill. It stops and there's you know, barbed wire wrapped around a couple of posts at the end right there. We see it. There's barbed wire and things like that, but it's easily, you know, somebody with a pair of wire cutters.
Shout out to Chili C. What's good with it, bro?
And that's basically what has happened. And when I went and saw it, there was, you know, it was just cut. And one thing was kind of ironic is on just as soon as you get to our side of the border, there's a pile of garbage and trash that as soon as people come right through that hole. And when we looked through it a little bit, it's mostly ripped up passports from around the world. Now, why that is, I'm not really sure, but maybe the people don't want to be identified from where they came from. But there's a big pile of ripped up passports right as soon as they come in. You can see that little trash pile there. And I thought that was ironic, but it was, and Border Patrol was there. We watched people being dropped off. Border Patrol didn't and couldn't actually stop them from coming across.
Yeah.
They can only process them.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to.
So again, this is just endless, nonstop. Make it make sense. Now, we saw all of the people, right? The shift has gone to San Diego and Arizona to where these migrants are attempting to get in, right? Look what's been going on in San Diego. Look at this. No, now, again, this is stuff that people are not really talking about. They're not really talking about this. Check out San Diego. Check out what's going on in San Diego. Hundreds of migrants seeking asylum being dropped off at local transit centers. For what? And who's dropping them off? You know what I'm saying? This is crazy.
These asylum seekers would normally get dropped off at the county's Migrant Welcome Center, but today we're seeing hundreds of them at transit stations like this one. I'm Pearl Shaheen in Old Town. This comes one day after the group running that Welcome Center says there's not enough money to keep it open. These unmarked white buses have been coming.
So now remember, we just talked about a place that didn't have any money. Tucson, Arizona is going through the same situation. Now, I want to make this clear so we don't get ahead of ourselves. This is not Tucson, Arizona that we're talking about right here. This is San Diego, California. And I agree with you, Patrick. And I had said that a long time ago. There's a whole network, there's a whole infrastructure in place that makes this work. Facts. Absolutely. If you guys agree with Patrick, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Absolutely. Absolutely. 110%. That is absolutely 110% true and factual statement. So we got San Diego, California, and Tucson, Arizona, completely out of money. So now what happens? We just dump the migrants out into the middle of the street. What happens next? Migrants in the middle of the street. What happens next?
Coming through the Iris Avenue station for hours, picking up and dropping off people from all over the world who are filing asylum claims in the U.S.
Trop de pauvreté dans mon pays, il y a pas de travail, trop de corruption là-bas. C'est pour cela qu'on est venu ici pour chercher à gagner, à travailler, à nourrir nos familles.
I spoke with a handful of African migrants in French. They say they spent thousands of dollars to fly into Tijuana and then cross the border from there. Youssef Gassi says he's going to live in New York while waiting for his immigration court date.
Est-ce que tu peux de payer pour ton vol?
Bien sûr.
À New York.
So again, they keep on showing the African migrants, right? The African migrants make up a small percentage of these people. Also, let's actually ask some questions about the African migrants. How many African criminal migrant gangs has anybody heard about? Where are African migrants terrorizing the United States? Of course, you know, there was that one situation, the guy at Target, you know what I'm saying, he got a little bit upset that his coworker had taken his food, you know what I'm saying. But aside from that, and aside from these little cases that we hear about here and there, there's no African migrant criminal gangs that we're hearing about. So now the interesting thing about it is that they keep showing the African migrants as the face of the migrant crisis, but it's the Hispanic Venezuelan migrants that have come and created gangs attaching El Tren de Agua to MS-13. There hasn't been any stories about African migrant criminality. Now, you know, we got the people that, you know, they kind of run wild in New York City and, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff going on. But I'm talking about the actual migrants. So the fact that they have to keep putting black migrants on the screen to sell white people on this, it shows the visceral urges and racism of white people that they have to tap in order to get them to pay attention to this. You see this migrant right here? He doesn't look like that guy that deleted that sex worker in the Soho hotel. This migrant right here, he don't look like one of the migrants that beat up the police twice, and they keep showing them. So what that says is that these people know exactly how they are, who they are, and what they have to do in order to get themselves involved into something. And in order to get them involved, they got to show a black face. That's crazy. Now, they'll sit there and tell you that that's not the reason. But if that's not the reason, then why aren't they showing the criminal migrants? Why is it that every time there's a negative story about migrants, they got the black migrants on there? Every time there's some positive story about migrants and families and fighting, they got the non-black migrants on there. Somebody make it make sense. These people are so degenerate and their brains are so cross-wired that they have to show black migrants on there to just get them to wake up and turn over on the couch and pay attention to it. That's a damn shame. Those people from those cultures who operate that way, they ought to be ashamed of their damn self. You raised your kids like this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Is anybody surprised that people from those type of cultures have the most familicides? They raising their kids like this. Of course, their kids probably turn around and off the parents. You know what I'm saying?
For the last 4 months, the county's Migrant Welcome Center helped migrants like Gassi get to their destinations. But the center closed on Thursday, compelling Lindsay Tozalowski and others to help out.
It's really, nonprofit organizations coming together to step in and do what needs to get done.
Tozalowski is a volunteer who works for the Immigrant Defenders Law Center. She says a group of nonprofits paid for a bus to take migrants from Iris to Old Town, where a free shuttle will then take them to the airport. They plan to continue doing this until their funding runs out. For now, it's enough to send Gassi on his way. He says he wants to learn English and eventually become a math professor.
Est-ce que tu veux devenir un professeur?
Bien sûr. Mathématicienne, yes.
Perla Shaheen, ABC 10 News.
Before its closure yesterday, the Migrant Welcome Center was the first stop for asylum seekers. It was also an alternative to street releases. The center helped 81,000 people since October 11th with food, essentials, and transportation, noting that more than 95% of the migrants who used the center traveled to destinations outside San Diego County.
Now, do you guys remember, like, back in the day when your parents would tell you don't cry wolf? See, we live in such a ridiculous world nowadays. Like none of the newer like kids, you know what I'm saying, the new generation, none of them even know about like the old stuff, like don't cry wolf and stuff like that. They don't even know nothing about that. But like, you remember when the parents said don't cry wolf? This entire migrant crisis is a bunch of people crying wolf. Is what this is. You know what I'm saying? If y'all agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. This is a whole bunch of people crying wolf. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome back. In the commercial break, we were watching this video in from Bill Malusian on some migrants that are being dropped off. He has an update for us from San Diego. Bill, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Dana, good morning to you. We are in San Isidro, a part of San Diego right now, where hundreds of illegal immigrants have just been mass street released from Border Patrol custody. This bus you see right here.
Mass street released. What do they think is going to happen with this? In what world would this be a good idea? Seriously. I mean, like, now we're getting to the point to where we can just ask basic common sense questions. Like, what's going on here? What is this? So we just open up the door and just let everybody off the bus, and that's just it. What do people think is going to happen with this kind of situation? Make it make sense. Shout out to Trench Dweller FBA. Trench Dweller FBA says that I'm goofy. Do y'all agree? If y'all agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Goofy.
Here is apparently an NGO or volunteer organization bus. They've all just gotten off a Border Patrol bus, two of them actually. They're now waiting to board this bus. I've talked to several of them from Peru, from India, from Colombia.
That's what shout out to Kelly. That's exactly what I was saying about how the political right wing is trying to sell this acceptable level of racism hustle. What they're trying to do is they're trying to circle the wagons and try to show how a lot of the things that they came with and talked about are coming to fruition. Things like the LGBTQ, things like this. And so if they're right about all of this stuff, then they must be right about black people too. And they're trying to sell that to black people. Maybe we do know what's best. Nah, you don't know what's best. You don't know anything, for real, for real. And honestly, the right wing is on board with this immigration stuff as well. Like I said, we could trace it all the way back to Ronald Reagan. So now this is how you get people buying into this everybody woke stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got black people saying, well, this is woke, as if the word woke ain't a dog whistle for black. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to just talk shit about black people. It's cool to act like black people are the only people that commit crimes. Let me check these YouTube news clips to see what I could do a reaction video to. I could do a reaction video to this shopping spree theft, right? Where there's this mass flash shopping spree violence in Chicago. Or I could do a video about where this white boy in the suburbs sawed his dad's head off and put it in a turkey baster bag. I could do that. But the turkey baster bag story won't get a lot of push. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to see, you know what I'm saying, the white dad's head in the bag. But they do want to see some black kids running around stealing some clothes. So since stealing clothes is more of a threat than your father's head in a bag after you just sawed it off, got to do that video. Got to make faces like I'm taking a shit like Greg Foreman. Every video Greg Foreman put up with some shit about black people and like he's taking a shit. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. Oh, James White says you're dumb. You got any proof? You got any proof? Because I'll tell you what I do have proof of. I got proof that somebody who lived in a neighborhood that was supposedly so good that looks probably just like you sawed their dad's head off and put it in a plastic bag and posted it on YouTube. And YouTube actually gave them about 10,000 views for the video. Now you mad because I said that? That makes me dumb. If I'm dumb, what does that make people who raise children that delete their parents? Tell me that. Tell me that. What does that make people that raise people like Ethan Crumley or Salvador Ramos? I didn't think so. I didn't think so. I think that you're hurt, James, is what I think. And what you should do is you should continue to show me how hurt you are, because I enjoy your pain. And if you got anybody that's like you, that is sensitive like that, tell them to come on. Put them in a bus like these migrants and bring them on over here. Then it'll get really interesting. It'll get really interesting.
Colombia. The group from Peru told me they are here to work. They are going to Atlanta and Minneapolis. Let's see if we can talk to some of them real quick. Hola, español. ¿De dónde son? Ecuador. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Nueva York.
New York. Going to New York. ¿De dónde son? ¿De dónde son? Costa Rica. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
New Jersey.
¿Dónde?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Now look at this. Check this out, right? Check this out. Check this out. I'm dumb. I may be the dumbest person on the planet, but you know one thing that I've never done? I've never led a bus of migrants who I have no idea who they are into a city of taxpayers. I've never done that. But some of the alleged most intelligent W people have. I'm just saying.
Jersey. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Chicago.
Chicago. ¿Y de dónde son?
Colombia.
Colombia. ¿Quieren trabajar?
No.
No? ¿Asilo?
Sí, yes.
They say they want asylum. They don't want to work. ¿De dónde son? Oh, where are you from?
Senegal. Senegal, Africa.
Senegal. From Senegal. We saw a lot of Senegalese in Lukeville, Arizona. Where in the U.S. do you want to go to? What city?
France. Speak French.
Oh, he says he speaks French. I obviously do not speak French. Oh, watch out, Lexi. Hi, where are you from?
I'm from Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. ¿A dónde vas los Estados Unidos?
New York.
New York. Okay, so you get a little flavor right there, guys. They're from all around. They're some going to New York, some going to New Jersey. We talked to those Peruvian guys. They're going to Atlanta, to Minneapolis. So they have been released from Border Patrol custody. They are now free to travel the country. It appears an NGO group or...
So now here's the, again, we got to keep asking this question. What happens? So they just come to the border, then they just get released. And then, like he just said, they're free to roam the country. So you know, we got to ask this question. Who set the country up like this? Who set this great civilization up like this? To where it makes so much sense. To where you have a wide open front door.
or some sort of volunteer group is now putting them on their own bus, and they're going to be going elsewhere. We'll try to talk to that NGO after this live shot if we can, but the reason this is happening, obviously we've had a big surge of illegal crossings here in San Diego sector, which we've been showing all week. The other reason, San Diego County recently spent millions of taxpayer dollars to create a migrant shelter where some of these migrants could stay. That shelter just ran out of money this week. So
did you see that? You guys see that? So what the next, probably moving forward, the type of content that's going to be made about this migrant crisis situation is going to be very different. Okay? Lady Justice thinks that Biden and Obama created this situation. Now, let me ask you a question, Lady Justice. If Obama is the deporter in chief, and Obama, you know that white president that we had named Obama, if he deported more illegals than any of your conservative role models, how is he responsible for the migrant crisis today? We're going to use some reparation logic on you, Miss Justice. How long ago was Barack Obama the president? How's he responsible for the migrant crisis today? You didn't answer my question. How's Barack Obama responsible for the migrant crisis today? When he deported, you ready for this? This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. He deported more illegals than Trump. Now, everything that you're talking about is speculation. Everything that I'm talking about, you can get from the exact same place that you get your little racist ass criminality statistics, from the FBI database. Name me one law. Name me one segregation law that Barack Obama made. I guarantee you that I can tell you that your grandparents probably voted for more segregation laws than the amount of segregation laws that Barack Obama has a signature on. But I'll wait for you to list them for me. Doesn't matter if you're white. I thought color didn't matter to you. You think that white people are the only people that use FBI crime statistics? And there's no proof that you're not white. But since you brought up you not being white, if I'm not mistaken, the only person that I said was white was Barack Obama, because he is. So now, do you have anything on Barack Obama being white for me? You don't have anything about Barack Obama being white for me? Okay. Barack Obama deported more people than Trump. How many migrants is Ronald Reagan responsible for allowing in the country? And here's another question that I got for you. Are you a migrant? I think that's a great question. That's a place where we can start. But see, Lady Justice ain't answering any questions, so, you know. That's what happens. That's what happens when these people get destroyed. It's glorious. Then it's almost like, have you ever seen a computer just spitting out printer paper? That's what happens. Then you just get all kind of random stuff just spit out. 30 million across the border. That's great. We're about 3 hours deep into a live stream talking about the border. But thank you.
Their own bus, and they're going to be going elsewhere. We'll try to talk to that NGO after this live shot if we can. But the reason this is happening, obviously, we've had a big surge of illegal.
Shout out to Patrick Taylor. No, they don't. Patrick Taylor says these people come here to troll blacks. They don't come here to troll blacks. Anybody that comes here to get destroyed. You don't come here to troll anybody. You come here to get destroyed. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. When you come here to get destroyed. You come here to get destroyed so badly that we actually wire your brain back up so that it works properly. Or maybe not properly, but at least the way we want it to, where it works for us.
Crossings here in San Diego sector, which we've been showing all week. The other reason, San Diego County recently spent millions of taxpayer dollars to create a migrant shelter where some of these migrants could stay. That shelter just ran out of money this week. So there's nowhere to put these migrants from Border Patrol custody. You see the results now. These are mass street releases just dropped onto the streets of San Diego. And now they are getting help from this NGO where they're going to help facilitate their travel and go all across the country. And guys, you just heard it here. They're going all over the place.
So you just answered a couple of my questions. I wanted to know what a street release was.
Or they end up buying a membership. You know what I'm saying? That's we've got that. That's happened. You know what I'm saying?
As I noticed that everybody seems to have an iPhone and that it's fully charged and they're using it. What I am wondering is, with all of this happening in the last 2 weeks that we've been showing between you and Griff Jenkins, has Governor Gavin Newsom said a word?
Not that I'm.
Yeah, that's a good point. What has Gavin Newsom said about any of this? Has anybody heard anything? Gavin Newsom saying anything about this situation? Because they've got to do something about them putting all these people out in the street in San Diego. This is ridiculous.
Aware of. I know he's in Washington, D.C. today, but eventually, look, these images are probably going to cause him a little bit of a political issue, right? Look what's happening in Texas. They are fortifying their border with razor wire, with National Guard, with troopers. They're kicking the feds out, and their illegal crossings have fallen off a cliff here. What has happened as a result? A lot of the illegal crossings are now a big majority of them are now in California and Arizona. Blue states run by blue governors who really aren't doing any sort of resistance at the state level in terms of trying to stop these illegal crossings. But look, here down in San Diego, the El Cajon mayor is coming down here as well. We've been texting. He's been getting mass releases in his city as well.
Now, the thing that's interesting about this is that what he's saying is interesting how these people get on code and start lying. Because how many people remember when the governor of Colorado and the white mayor of Denver started sending migrants from Denver to New York and to Chicago, and Brandon Johnson and Eric Adams had to stop them? But do you guys notice how like none of the white people ever mentioned anything about that? Nobody ever says anything about that. So we got to ask the question, why doesn't anybody say anything about that? What do you guys think?
Everyone's frustrated that the federal government essentially just says, you deal with it. They dump them in a city and say, good luck, essentially.
Incredible. Thank you for the reporting, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. I'm Steve Ducey.
That's exactly what's going on. So people in Colorado are outraged. And one of the things that they're outraged about, shout out to Big Mo. What's good with it, bro? One of the things that they're outraged about is that they continue to get misinformation about migrant arrivals. Now, here's my question. Why is Colorado getting misinformation about migrant arrivals? Why would they be getting misinformation about migrant arrivals? Make that make sense. And shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 59 people watching, and we got 103 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button and get us to 120, that'd be great. Uh-oh. Hold on real quick. My bad. All right, there we go.
Every day, it seems we are telling you about another community in Colorado dealing with false rumors that the city of Denver is sending migrants to their community. We've covered how this intentional misinformation is being used to drum up anti-migrant sentiment in some places. We saw it earlier this month in Lakewood when Jeffco Republican leaders falsely...
Yep, exactly, Patrick, because that's exactly what they do. That's what they do with Obama, right? Patrick Taylor, shout out to you, bro. Patrick Taylor says they got these black mayors as fall guys, especially when black Americans bring it up a few years from now. It'll be, it was your black mayors. Why y'all can't find work? Wink, wink. Absolutely. They try that with Barack Obama, but then they have to be reminded that Barack Obama is a white guy because you can't be black and have a white parent. By white people's reasoning, not by mine. You know what I'm saying? That's by white people's reasoning. They made that. They said that. So since they're the ones that came up with that and made that and actually had that as a law, that has to be given back to them. That has to be given back to them. Would you guys agree? If y'all want to see a white person get pissed off, tell them that Barack Obama is white. And then ask him how is he the same race as you? Because you don't have because you have a black mother and Obama got a white mother. They don't know, believe it or not, as simple of a rebuttal that is, that you will literally watch the brain melt down in real time. Is glorious. I'm dead serious. You'll be dying laughing.
They claimed that Denver was sending thousands of migrants to live in Lakewood's empty schools. The GOP provided no proof. Lots of people turned out upset about it. Denver and Lakewood insist that the cities actually just agreed that any migrants turning up in Lakewood should be referred to services in Denver, not the other way around. Then this week, Garfield County commissioners blamed Denver as they turned down our request to help Carbondale with the migrants who have come there. For months, we've...
So now, again, we've talked about this before. These suburbs in Colorado, they're fighting about this migrant situation because Mike Johnson is just sending these migrants all over the place, breaking commitments, not asking permission. Again, he tried to do this to Chicago and New York. And so, again, shout out to Patrick for that comment, right? Because white people are the very people that say that the politicians shouldn't be doing anything race specific. But then when you have a black mayor, they'll put it back on the black mayor and say that's why you don't have any jobs, because why didn't your black mayor take care of you? But they're the same people that sit there and say you're not supposed to have race specific policy. So how are you supposed to take care of somebody based on race because that person is a certain race when you all have an issue with that? Make that make sense. Well, your black mayor is supposed to take care of you. So how's the black mayor supposed to take care of you in a way that you weren't taking, in a way that other people weren't taken care of, when you all don't feel that there should be race specific policy, despite the fact that the race specific policy was okay when it was Jim Crow and black codes? Why is it that white people are okay with Jim Crow and black codes as race specific policy, but don't believe in any other race specific policy? We need those questions answered. Would you guys agree? Those are questions that we deserve answers to. And we shouldn't take no for an answer. Give us them answers before we tear this bitch up. You know what I'm saying?
Carbondale with the migrants who have come there. For months, we've reported on just a couple dozen migrants overwhelmed the resources in that small mountain town. Carbondale's gotten some help from the state on this. Garfield County Commissioner Tom Jankowski claimed that a city leader in Denver is the person who directed those migrants to go look for work in Carbondale.
So you guys see what's going on here? Now in Denver, they got them playing musical migrants, and all of the towns are already overwhelmed. They're already overwhelmed.
Couple dozen migrants overwhelmed the resources in that small mountain town. Carbondale's gotten some help from the state on this. Garfield County Commissioner Tom Jankowski claimed that a city leader in Denver.
And they won't respond, and they never will. And they need to be continually hit up with that nonsense. They need to be continually hit up with it. Never give them breathing room, bro. You know what I'm saying? Never give them breathing room. Always suffocate them with the facts.
Is the person who directed those migrants to go look for work in Carbondale.
Shout out to John. What's good with it, bro?
Got here, at least from what I've been told, is that the director of emergency services in the county of Denver told them to go to Carbondale because there's jobs in the Roaring Fork Valley.
I've heard that story too. I'm not sure it's true that Denver sent them to us. It seems that one individual who works in the city government made a mention of Carbondale, but I wouldn't blame the whole city for that.
A spokesperson for Denver's Office of Emergency Management.
That's interesting. One individual made a mention, but I wouldn't blame the whole city for that. But I guarantee you that this individual, if he sees one black person commit a crime, he'll blame the entire race for the crime. You guys understand that it's the religion that these people practice that gives them this false sense of ability to be able to manifest nonsense. You guys realize that, right? So one thing, you cannot really deal with this kind of situation if you worship a religion that powers this kind of BS, if you ask me. Because what you're doing then is you're putting fuel into the engine. Would you guys agree? But the problem is that there's not a lot of people that want to disassociate with the religion. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
City for that.
A spokesperson for Denver's Office of Emergency Management said they had nothing to do with migrants traveling to Carbondale, neither did other City of Denver leaders. It's the same rumor that's popping up in Colorado Springs after a busload of migrant families arrived there last month. Springs Mayor Yemi Mobilati.
So see, as you guys can see, Colorado Springs, they got the migrants coming up there too.
Begged yesterday for the political rumor mill to give it a rest.
In terms of that coordination between two offices,
now this mayor right here, he's an immigrant. The Colorado Springs mayor, he's an immigrant. So here's my question for you guys. What do you guys think about that?
They haven't sent any migrants our way, but what we do know is some of the migrants that are coming to our city are happening organically. We believe that it's coming through residents in the Denver area who are trying to help, nonprofits who are trying to help.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnson's office told us today the City of Denver has not directed migrants to Carbondale or to the Springs. They aren't sending them to Lakewood. They said they aren't aware of any nonprofits doing so either. The Denver Mayor's office says most of the onward travel they provide, like if you want to go somewhere, they'll pay for a ticket, that's out-of-state travel. And the City of Denver insisted that they do not actively recommend that any migrants travel to any other community in Colorado.
So it's so out of control in Colorado that they don't even know where the migrants is going to be turning up. They don't even know where the people are going to be turning up at. Hold on real quick. So here's my question. If you're a sanctuary city and you invited this situation, how is it called a migrant crisis? How is it called a migrant crisis if you invite it? Does that make any sense? So you invite this situation, and then when the situation comes, it's called a crisis.
Been tracking the migrant crisis impacting Denver for the last year, of course, and now Colorado Springs says it is preparing to deal with its own influx. It's been nearly 1 month since El Paso County commissioners claimed a bus carrying migrants came to Colorado Springs, but Mayor Mobilati says it's important to plan for any scenario. He reiterated Colorado Springs is not a sanctuary city and is still not in a crisis, but as with wildfires and floods, it's important to be ready since the first wave of migrants entered the city.
So see, those places in Tennessee that they're sending the migrants to, they're not sanctuary cities either. But as you guys can see, now what's going on is that the sanctuary cities are trying to be slick, and the sanctuary cities are slickly sending migrants to other cities behind their backs to try to take the load off. If you guys can see that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't see that, give me a thumbs down.
The mayor says he's not aware of any more coming into that community. He says to continue to keep track of when and if more arrive, he wants to build relationships with nonprofits who can alert him if they see more migrants within the city.
We've had to take every intel seriously. We've chased it down. You know, we've been told that there was a bus at the downtown bus station. We sent our team there. There was nothing. So often what we're told may not always be the reality, you know, so we, at the end of the day, we have to get to the facts. And that was intel that was given to us. As you do more homework, you begin to realize what's true and not true. And so that's something we're doing on an almost daily basis.
Mayor Mobilati also says the fact that they are not a sanctuary city in the Springs has nothing to do with politics, but with the city not having resources to take in migrants like Denver has.
What do you guys think about that? I don't know why he even said that. I wouldn't have said anything. Sometimes people open their mouth when they shouldn't. Would you guys agree? I don't think he should have said anything about that. I think he should have just kind of, you know what I'm saying, just let that interview ease on out. You know what I'm saying?
Colorado Springs Mayor Yemi Mobolade says the city is working to prepare in the event more migrants arrive in the city. News 5's Allison Zimmerman joining us now in studio with a look at the details of that plan. Allison.
Diane, the mayor says the Regional Office of Emergency Management is the lead agency on addressing migrants coming into Colorado Springs. He says the rumors have cost taxpayers money as the city has worked to figure out what's true and what's not.
We're not in crisis. That's really important for me to say. We do not have a crisis, migrant crisis, quote unquote.
Over and over Thursday morning, Mayor Yemi Mobolade assured reporters the city is not in a crisis in regards to migrants. What is your definition, Mela?
Now what now what's gonna happen when this city does start to have issues because of the migrants? And then they're gonna take this interview and keep saying, well, you said that there wasn't a crisis. You said that there wasn't a crisis. You said that there wasn't a crisis. And then all the articles are gonna pop up. Is he fit to lead? Is he fit to lead? Is he fit to lead? But I guarantee you, if you try to tell this guy this, he'll sit there and tell you that you don't know what you're talking about, despite the fact that our families have been here forever.
Of a crisis.
I do not have a definition. I'm using the word crisis because in the last 3 weeks, that's a narrative that's being used on social media and on the media and on media, frankly. And what I've been trying to do is de-escalate the situation.
Mayor Mobolade says the city does not know how.
It's not your job to de-escalate the migrant crisis. See, he's already trying to do too much. Would you guys agree? See, he's already drank the Kool-Aid. He's already trying to do too much. It's not your job to de-escalate the migrant crisis. It's your job to be the mayor. Those are two very different jobs. Being the mayor and de-escalating the migrant crisis are not synonymous.
Many migrants have made their way to Colorado Springs.
I want to be clear that the first time my team heard about migrants arriving, independently of our city and the relationship we have on the state level.
There was confusion earlier this month over just how
He said he sounded like Akon. He like migrant music. I see you whining and crying. You got no place to go. They kicked you off that bus. Because you already know they undocumented. Oh man, Akon, man, migrant music.
how many migrant families arrived in Colorado Springs. But the mayor says the regional office here is working with its counterparts in Denver.
They haven't sent any migrants our way, but what we do know is some of the migrants that are coming to our city are happening organically.
The mayor laid out 3 priorities for emergency managers with the crisis. Identify organizations that can help, figure out what role they could play, and determine what could cause future actions. The mayor says Denver shelters have time limits for migrants, and Colorado Springs needs to be prepared.
Migrants might independently come to our region. We don't know that. We're anticipating.
And the mayor did give few details, as you heard on the plan, but he said the framework of it will be introduced on Monday at City Council. We'll follow up and let you know what happens. In the newsroom, Allison Zimmerman, News 5.
I know what's going to be happening. The migrants, they going to be climbing and lying up on that wall. They going in the store and steal some clothes from the mall. Oh man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Woo. Hold on, man. Before we get out of here, man, we got to do this one more time. Hold on real quick. Oh man, hold on real quick, y'all. We got to do this one more time. I keep trying to tell these people, man, look. I keep trying to tell these people, man, if they don't get this migrant situation under control, they finna hop off them they finna hop off them buses and be like this.
See how I'm shaking? You don't want me to get mad. If I tie this bitch up, I will. I'll tear this bitch up from the plum to the rooter. You don't fuck with me. Get the
That's how the migrants gonna be. If y'all ain't got them gifts, we finna we gonna go to New York City and find the police, and we gonna tear their ass up.
fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. Cause I'll tie this bitch up.
Swing the remix God.
I'll tear this bitch up.
Hey, when the music started, that could be the anime, like the background. You know how the background be changing on the anime when they get the superpowers? Oh man. Oh man.
Tie this bitch up.
Swing the remix God.
I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up.
Oh my God. Hey man, everybody has heard a female family member or a female friend say some shit like this before, man.
You see how I'm shaking? You don't want me to get mad. Cause I'll tie this bitch up. I will.
Oh man. Look, man, how many Hey, how many of y'all was in the back seat of the car and you was acting up with your brother or your sister and your dad or your mom turned around and was like, if I gotta turn around one more time, I'm gonna tear your ass up. Oh man.
Will, I'll tear this bitch up from the plum to the rooter. You don't fuck with me. Get the fuck. What you doing? You better sit your motherfucking ass down. Cause I'll tie this bitch up.
Swing the remix God.
I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I will. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. Tie this bitch up. I'll tear this bitch up.
Oh man. Hey, they could get her a contract for the choruses though, man. They could get her a contract for the choruses though. Her voice go hard, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, that's hilarious, man. Man, that is hilarious, man. Shout out to the two stream sponsors. Shout out to Jesse for becoming a member. Make sure y'all show Jesse some love, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to my man Cutthroat Nash with the $4.99 super chat. Make sure that y'all show them some love. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay gang. Hopefully you leave some comments. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,